promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters, RMP. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Post-municipal election day, everybody.
Brave new world in which we find ourselves.
Yeah, happy Wednesday. We have a new mayor, some new city councilors.
Yep.
After last night's municipal election.
Things got shaken up.
Of course, things are officially unofficial until they're official.
Right.
Which I believe is happening on March 9th when they canvass the votes there at the county admin building. I believe I'm not sure they do the chambers clerk. Maybe at the county building on the 9th. But in case you are waking up and have not heard the numbers yet, as far as the mayoral race goes, Tim Jennings won last night with 44% of the vote, 2,420 votes total. Dennis Kentai with 43% of the vote at 2,363 votes. Yeah, mere 50-some votes separates the two there.
Yep, but less than 5,000 total.
Over 5,000 total, because we have Guy Malone had 10%.
No, less than 5,000 total for them, for between those two candidates.
Yes, just a hair under.
Sure.
Yes, yeah. Guy Malone had 10% of the vote, 528. Ava Tejas, 4% of the vote at 205. Yeah, total votes, 5,514, which I don't know if they. I don't know the clerks of the city and the county to look at it and say that's good voting numbers or not. Thinking, I don't know. I'm guessing we have somewhere between 15 and 20,000 registered voters in New Mexico, Roswell.
Right.
I'll say 15. We'll keep it somewhere around there. 5,000 out of 15. I don't know if that's good.
It's 1/3.
Yeah, maybe
I mean 1/3 based on speculative numbers.
I know. In reality, in my head, that doesn't seem good.
No.
But I don't know. Maybe when they look at overall, they're like, yeah, that's more we've had in years past.
Sure.
So I don't know. But anyway, I feel like that should be a higher number total.
But I never want to discourage any candidate out there from running an aggressive ad campaign. Please, by all means, get out there, get your name out there, let people know who you are. The best way to do that is through radio. Come in here and cut ads.
Well, don't worry your pretty little head. We'll get more of that coming here very soon. So I know now we get a bit of a respite for a couple weeks here, but they're going to be going hot and heavy with the.
It's like the sports seasons. I'm waiting to cut the 2-minute sponsor promo for election season.
Yeah.
The 2022 election season is coming up. And you're not going to want to miss.
Yeah, we need graphics. In the Ward 1 race, we had Christina Arnold she won with 56% of the votes there, 389. James Edwards with 44% of the vote at 302, 691 total votes in the Ward 1 race there. Ward 2, that was a 3-candidate race. Juliana Halverson won that seat last night with 59% of the vote, 1,012 votes. Margaret Kinnert, who was appointed and was serving in that role here, had 37% of the votes, 631. And then Joe Horn had 4% with 64 votes, 1,707 votes total for the Ward 2 City Council race. In Ward 3, incumbent Judy Stubbs was defeated by Ed Hildebrand.
Yep.
Ed had 59% of the vote, 886 total votes. Judy Stubbs had 41% of the votes, 618 total, for a grand total of 1,504 votes in Ward 3. Ward 4, this one was tight.
Yeah.
This one was tight.
Yeah.
This
one is actually the one that everybody was kind of like had their eyes on.
Well, it was a 4-candidate race, and Robert Korn, former county commissioner,
Right.
won that race with 27% of the vote. Now, this is why I talk about your vote matters,
Right.
Because listen to these numbers, all right? And look at all these races. I mean, look at the mayor race. It was 50-some votes.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of votes
No, it's not.
separating that race there. But get this one, all right? We had 1,009 total votes in the Ward 4 race. Robert Korn won with 27% of the vote, 268 votes.
Okay.
Coming in second with 224 votes, Joe Green at 22%. Darrell Johnson, also at 22%, had 223 votes.
Wow.
And then Daniel Lopez, who was appointed and was serving in that role, had 20% with 203 votes. So we're talking like a dozen votes separating the people here. And then Alicia Gilmore had 9%, 91 votes. So, I mean, that was a household. I got to sneeze and I'm trying to fight it. But that's like a household separating.
That's absolutely crazy. First of all, that it was stretched over that many candidates. But yeah, that it was just a handful of votes that separated every single one. So never let it be said your voice doesn't count.
Yeah. And then finally, the Ward 5 incumbent Angela Moore, running unopposed.
Yep.
Got all 441 votes of,
shocker.
from the ward. So congratulations to her.
It'd be a bummer if she only got 13.
She'll need one.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all you needed. So she's good to go. So again, like I said, these are unofficial.
And nobody wrote in the grimace.
Well, it didn't make the numbers.
I told you all we needed was 500 times. 500 times is all we need to say the grimace's name and he'll appear. I'm pretty sure we all get either like a cheeseburger or a shake. You have to make a $1 minimum purchase, but it's fine though.
Well, maybe some people were like, I'd rather have. Yeah, 24,000 voters in Roswell is what I got a text from.
Okay.
So low turnout, which surprises me.
As hard as the campaign was run,
there was a lot of talking.
Yeah,
and a lot of back and forth. So I'm guessing maybe it's just
it's the squeakiest wheels getting the grease essentially, and there's only essentially 5,500 and so on squeaky wheels.
Well, or people that care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's and I get some younger people, you don't care about what's going on. You're like, dude, I gotta work a shift. That's all I'm worried about at the moment, And I get that. But at the same time, certainly, what did you say? What did I say it was? 25,000? What did I say earlier?
24,000.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Certainly we could get double.
Yeah.
I mean, if we got half of that number voting,
that's
that would be good.
That's essentially 1/5.
Yeah.
Less than 1/5.
But
a little more than 1/5.
It is what it is. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, so we'll have some new members of city council and a new mayor, and of course we'll send the invites out like we always do for having. I'm assuming Tim Jennings will want to join us for our city council recaps and all that.
Well, we have
stuff.
McDonald's, so I mean, this is where it's at.
It's
one of the perks of the job.
I'm going to need to. I might need to use that my McDonald's card. Play the McDonald's card. To have
a lot of people don't know about the secret mayoral perks. It's kind of like the stonecutters from The Simpsons. They have a button that goes in their car. They push it, and a rock slides away, and they get a.
We do have a mayor burrito.
Yeah, they get a private. Yeah, they do. He definitely gets his mayoral burrito. We actually keep it under glass, in a cloche. So there are some perks.
Okay,
absolutely.
Well, hopefully that'll be enough.
Yeah, you get a car wash card.
I make jokes. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
You get a parking spot and a placard. I think you get a free personal pan pizza from Pizza Hut. It's
oh wow,
it's a nice package.
Whole thing.
It's like the Book It program. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that might have actually been a little bit after your time in school. Did you ever do Book It?
Book It. I guess I didn't because I don't know what it is.
So and I just gave nostalgic feels to
I thought you
my
said Bucket program.
No, Book It.
Book It.
So the Book It program was amazing. Basically, schools across the country teamed up with Pizza Hut, and you would read a certain number of books and then you would get a certificate for a free personal pan pizza from Pizza Hut.
Oh, okay.
I had so many personal pan pizzas from Pizza because I grew up poor, so eating like Pizza Hut pizza was like it never
treat.
happened. We had it in our town, but never happened.
Sure.
Except for when I got my butt to reading.
Got your coupons.
And those couple of years of Book It, I read a mountain of books.
I'm trying to think of the places they gave us is to incentivize us to. I remember McDonald's gift certificates were a big deal back then. You'd get those, and this was before gift cards in that world. And
they were always like touting the Book of Five certificates.
They usually
you could
around
get.
the holidays,
Right.
they would be like, give the gift to McDonald's, and you buy a book of gift certificates and to make great stocking stuffers. But I remember they would use those, dangle those as carrots for us as kids to go do various things.
Right.
I'm trying to think, was there any other? I remember they wanted in elementary school to get kids to join band. They buy them candy bars and Cokes.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Like they were short on trombone players. 'Cause
Right.
It was fifth grade. No one had the arms to play
Sure.
trombone. But if there was, they'd say, we'll give you not only a Snickers, but the king size jobber. If you
Dang,
if
they
you
must have
signed up
really
for
they wanted
trombone.
some boners.
It was enough for me to go home and ask my parents before they said no.
No, son, you're not playing the trombone for a Snickers bar.
And God be honest, they're probably right. I have no musical ability. I would have.
Yeah, you might have.
I would have. No. I would have got the Snicker bar.
Your career could have been packed with peanuts.
That would have been it. I have no music. I botched it. I just don't have the skills.
It would have been a heck of a story too. How'd you get started playing the trombone? You're like this world-renowned trombonist. Well, it was a Snickers bar and a soda.
Yeah, I got hangry.
I wasn't myself when I'm
That's
hungry,
right.
so.
I turned into Betty White.
But yeah, that was the Book It program. But that's a whole digression from the election. So
Yeah. But anyway, yes. By the way, if you go to our Facebook page, I've shared a link. It's also on the city's website. It's to the Secretary of State, New Mexico Secretary of State, and it's a direct link to the results from the election. And you can click them, and you can see all the ward races and the numbers and all the stuff I just read to you. I got it from there.
Ooh.
So you too can see it for yourself.
fancy.
Let me give you the rundown. Freddie Sosa from Richland scheduled to join us this hour. I don't know if he's been in yet, but when he pops in, we'll
Sure.
chit-chat with him. Could be a comeuppance. He might be reversing me.
Right.
Which I deserve it. But anyway,
Show him. Ghost him.
which I deserve it because I screwed up last time. But that's we'll see what happens. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, Paul Gessing with the Rio Grande Foundation was in town on Thursday. Talking at the Republican Women. So he popped in for a little bit. We had a great conversation. I'm going to play that for you here. We talk about legislative session, the governor race. We talk a little bit about some of that stuff. So it's about, I think, 17 minutes of total discussion. So we'll play that interview with Paul next hour, about 8:15. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, Crystal Noble with the Roswell Humane Society. She's going to join us. Normally she comes on Thursdays, but she was supposed to come in last week, but I moved her or asked her to move, and she was nice enough to, so we could make room for more candidates.
It always seems silly on the other side of something like an election, but then you look back, you're like, last week was insane. Like with the amount of people who were trying to get those last minute, words out, get those last minute, interviews in. And now it's just all of a sudden the dust is sort of like starting to settle, and it's just kind of the calm around. It's a weird juxtaposition between this time last week, how chaotic everything was, and now it's just like, yeah, all right,
Okay.
we're all still alive.
Freddie won't be in today. I just got a text. The rep said that he can't make it today. He's forgot to tell me. So
Gotcha.
no biggie. So we'll chit chat some more this hour. I don't know. We talk elections, but I got to. You know what? I think there's some TV I can talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost. I'll tell you later. When I was last night, I was hanging out at City Hall for the elections and everything, and they have over at City Hall there. Of course, the clerk's doing their things, and everyone's watching with bated breath while the various voting centers they're their votes came in, and then they'd start loading them in. But they had a little in the conference room, like where y'all were. If you could go online on Facebook last night, the city was streaming the results and talking on their Facebook page.
Right.
Well, I was hanging out in the room they were doing that in, and it was kind of just a little room for the public to hang out, watch the results come in. And there were some city councilors hanging out. One's not running for re-election. One's that didn't have a dog in the fight. They're just kicked back and watching. Various city people and things hanging out. And Councilor Jason Perry was hanging out there, and he kind of made a comment. He's like, we got. I know. He's like, what are you gonna do? We got like 4 shows to talk about. And he was kind of. I was like, yeah. I said, and I got 27 weird foods to eat too before we talk about this. So. By the way, I almost called him out and put him on the radio to make him sing, but he was like, if you need me to sing, I said, don't tempt me.
Yeah, don't you threaten me with a good time, young man.
But we kept it professional.
Why?
I don't know. I was tired. But, yeah, it was, we'll talk more here. It is 7:21. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Our fair trend continues over the next couple of days and pretty mild. We'll be around 70 to 75 today and plenty of sunshine and not too windy. It'll be clear for the overnight hours, mid-30s, and then we're in the mid-70s with more clouds coming in on Thursday as low pressure starts to move into our area and a little more gusty, low 80s and sunny Friday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 38 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 24%. Winds out of the north-northwest at 6 miles per hour. Sunny today in mid-70s for a high. 75 officially. Winds are going to be out of the southeast 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy with an overnight low of 35 degrees. Winds will be out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday, mostly cloudy tomorrow, 76 for a high. Another warm day, west winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, cloudy skies with an overnight low of 45, south winds 10 to 15. Thursday, sunny and warm. We're going to be highs near 81, but with that comes winds. They're looking at south winds 10 to 15 miles per hour early in the day on Friday, but later increasing 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. Friday night's going to be breezy as well, but mostly clear with an overnight low of 41. And then looking at your weekend, not too shabby. Sunny and 76 for Saturday, and then near 70, 69 officially under sunny skies on Sunday. And then a little cooler for next week. They're saying 63 on Monday, 59 on Tuesday. So that's the weather, what it's looking like. All right, it is 7:23. Let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break, about a 3.5-minute break, and then we'll be back on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Pecans are a big deal here in Chaves County. We have some of the biggest orchards in the country, and lots of us have pecan trees in our yards. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. Whether you have one pecan tree or 1,000 of them, this time of year, every pecan tree needs fertilizing. So come see us at Roswell Seed Company, and we'll get you fixed up with the right fertilizer for your pecan trees, so that next year, your nuts will be big and beautiful. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Sometimes we put off important health needs like surgeries because, well, we worry about the pain and time needed for recovery. Dr. Paul Torres, a board-certified general surgeon, has joined Loveless Healthcare Center and is helping patients in the Roswell area get back to the lives they love with less pain and a faster recovery through advances in minimally invasive surgery. To find out if laparoscopic surgery is the best solution for you, call Loveless and make an appointment today at 575-625-3222.
We all have the power to prevent substance misuse and promote positive mental health in New Mexico. Whether by supporting someone who is going through a difficult time or talking about healthy habits with children at an early age. Learn how at doseofwellness.com. That's doseofwellness.com. doseofwellness.com. Sponsored by New Mexico Human Services Department.
Where can you find the best selection of beautiful and unique home decor in the region? Easy, Casa Decor in Ruidoso. For years, people from all over have come to Casa Decor for the best selection of rustic, real wood furniture, beautiful decor from the Southwest and beyond, and quality outdoor furniture and accessories that are built to last a lifetime. At Casa Decor, they have over 10,000 square feet of showroom for everything you need. Casa Decor opens 7 days a week from 9:30 to 5 at 1214 Meacham Drive in Ruidoso or online at casadecorruidoso.com. Proud supporter of local high school sports.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the New Mexico Army National Guard. Aired by the New Mexico Broadcasters Association and this station.
The 2022 NMAA District Tournament is really heating up, and the Bulldogs are looking to keep it alive this Saturday as your 8-seed Artesia Bulldog boys face off against the 9-seed Wildcats of Lovington, live from the Bulldog Pit. Coverage for this game begins with pregame at 5:45 and tip-off at 6 p.m. on KSVP AM and FM and at KSVPTV.com. Bulldogs versus Lovington Wildcats, Saturday at 5:45 on KSVP AM and FM and at KSVPTV.com. Southeastern New Mexico's Sports Authority.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Alaska is the only state name that can be typed on one row of keys. Go ahead and try typing the other 49 states. We'll wait. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 27 minutes after 7 o'clock. By the way, I got in the mail yesterday my the newest edition of the Roswell Now magazine that the Chamber of Commerce puts out each quarter. New one came out for the spring. Roswell's Hidden Treasures. Hopefully you should be, if you didn't already get yours in the mail, you should be getting it very soon. And you can always reach out to the Chamber if you don't get a copy and would like a copy. But they send it out to every mailbox in Chaves County. Just to give you a little bit of the preview of some of the things in the magazine this month. They got all kinds of cool stuff. Wonders of Roswell's Past. Talking about some of our different places. They got a great article talking about the NMMI football championship. Talking, I should turn your microphone on.
Turn me on.
Turn me loose. Talking about the lineage of the team, all that good stuff. Great article there.
I like how the cover says Roswell's Hidden Treasures, and literally one of the pictures on the front is Roswell seed, but it's hidden behind a tree. Mm-hmm. Like in the picture, it's just obscured because there's a tree there. So technically, that's one of Roswell's hidden treasures.
It is.
Look behind the tree; it's there.
So much symbolism. That's deep, man.
It is. A seed begat the tree that hides Roswell's seed. It's like a which came first scenario.
And there's just a bunch of great stories here. Discover dragons and ducks. You're like, what? Tune to page 26 to learn more.
One of, and this has nothing to do with what you're talking about, but one of my favorite quotes from any movie of any time is Billy Bob Thornton in the movie Bandits.
Okay.
The quote is, he's sleeping. He's just in the middle of the scene. He's just sleeping. And he wakes up and he goes, beavers and ducks. It's just funny. Makes me laugh every time I see it.
Is that the one where he's
him and
Jolie?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, chicken sandwiches.
Nice. Darn you, McDonald's.
Yeah.
Get me every time.
They got me. Just when I was getting out, you reeled me back in. But then there's even like great recipes, all kinds. I mean,
nice.
they do this every time. Kids page for stuff. So it's a full magazine of things to do. So if you got yours, save it. Don't throw it away. And if you didn't, should be coming next. I got mine yesterday.
It's kind of funny because my kids my kid's mom's aunt, technically, their great aunt, got them a subscription to Highlights magazine.
Oh, I remember Highlights.
So it's really funny because every now and every so often I'll look in my back seat and I'll just see both my kids sitting there just heads in magazines. Especially Rhiannon, she loves to read, so she loves getting magazines and stuff. So grab them this Roswell now, especially if you got young readers in your house.
Yeah,
they'll read whatever.
Did you get one to your house?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, get the kids involved. Maybe I know your child is a picky eater. But
yeah, she is.
Maybe you can do like from the recipes together. Like if she's in part of the cooking part, you think maybe she'll be more apt to eat it?
It's actually I came to the determination. My kid is painfully white.
Well, I know the parents.
No, so that's just it. I love
that lines up.
No, it does it though.
Well, you're both white.
Maybe with their mom, but I have acclimated myself to New Mexico culture. I love spice.
Gotcha.
I love heat, seasonings.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That's the whole thing with white people. They don't use seasonings in their food. But Rhiannon, I'll give you an example. I made a hamburger helper like a week ago, a couple weeks ago, and that's like one of the meals that she'll eat: cheeseburger, mac, hamburger helper.
Okay.
Again, kind of bland. So what I do with mine, once I serve the kids theirs, take a little cumin, add it up on top. I love the cumin. It kind of brings out the umami flavor or whatever. So I did that to some of my food, and Rhiannon asked if she could have some of the meat from my plate.
Oh, and had a little cumin
I said,
on it.
sure. Had just a little bit of cumin on it. She went into a meltdown. Ran to the other room, hid for like 10 minutes because the flavor freaked her out. And 2 weeks later, to this day, anytime we have hamburger helper, she's like, "You're not going to put cumin on it, are you?"
Not a fan
I
of the cumin.
traumatized the kid with cumin.
Yeah. Well, maybe cumin's not her thing, but there's other spices out there. They got a lot.
I know.
There's a whole shelf at the grocery store full of different ones.
It was very disheartening, though. It was like, both my kids just really like very white food.
Well, kids are kids.
I know.
I mean, what did you like when you were a kid?
Pretty much the same thing. Pizza, grilled cheese. Yeah.
I think.
But I also opened it up. I'll give you an example. When I was a kid, when I was around Rhiannon's age, I obsessively loved liver and onions.
Yeah?
Yeah.
My thing with liver and onions, my grandmother made great liver and onions. I did not know that they were great until
you've had others
later.
Right.
But yes. And so growing up, we had them. My mother made it occasionally, but didn't like it.
Right.
But my dad did. And then I realized once I had other people's, I don't like liver and onions. I liked my grandmother's liver and onions. And to be honest, when I'd eat it.
Yeah.
Like my wife, I've heard her say it. I will never say, you know what I could go for? Some liver and onions.
Right.
You'll never hear me say that. My wife, I've heard her say it on a half dozen occasions in our 20 years of marriage.
My sister, still to this day, holds resentment towards me for 1 year for my birthday, for a birthday meal, forcing everyone in my family to have liver and onions because I asked for it for a birthday meal and my mom wasn't a short order cook. So my sister, still to this day, she's like, "Yeah, one time you made me eat liver and onions." Like,
yeah.
Sorry.
Now,
I
was
liked
your
it.
mom a fan of the liver and onions?
Yes, she was.
Okay.
She liked him and made a banger of
So
a
once
liver
my
and onions.
grandmother passed in 88, we didn't see him very often because my mom was not a fan.
Gotcha.
And I think by that point in my parents' marriage, my mom was good and sick of dad at that time, even though they went on to be married for another 10 years. My parents actually divorced when I was an adult, like in 2003.
You really learned the
2000.
resiliency of the generations.
No. I'm sorry, around 2000.
Like, I hated him. Stayed with him for 20 more years, but I hated him.
Well, but
that's resilient. That's the resiliency of the boomer generation.
But if you look at things in the big scheme, about the time my brother and I got out of the house, once my brother went to college and was on his own, about right after that they got divorced. I mean, I don't know if that was by or stay together till the kids and my mom's. I don't know. You'd have to ask them. But both are no longer here. But that was between.
So I'll get with John Edwards and I'll.
Yeah, that's right. Get to see if or John Edwards or what's it? Oh, Sylvie Brown's dead too.
Oh yeah, she's
get the Long Island Medium.
There you go.
I've actually seen her live.
Have you?
I'm not proud of it, but I have seen her live.
I mean, you do tell the story.
My wife is a fan.
Right.
And she came to, where did we go for that one? Was that Ruidoso? No, I think we went up to Albuquerque.
I remember you telling the story about this.
It was a casino, but I don't remember which casino it was. You know what I mean? One of the resorts.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was up north, like at Route 66 or one of those, or if we went to Into the Mountain Gods. But I think it was in Albuquerque. Now, I don't think it was in the Mountain Gods. I want to say it was something.
So you road trip to see Sylvia, or to see the Long Island Medium.
Well,
that's impressive.
And we stayed the night. Like, we made a weekend out of it. We went up there, and so I was like, okay, I'll go as long as I can eat at the buffet and gamble.
Just give me the things I want. I'll give you what you need.
I will sit through 2 hours of Long Island Medium. I keep wanting to say Lolita, but it's
Long Island Lolita. That actually might be worth going too.
I grew up during the Amy Fisher era. Sorry, that was a headline they just crowbarred at you 100 times.
I feel like she'd have some stories. I'd love to hear a tell-all.
Hey, kids, back in the 90s, we used to get salacious stories like, look up guys like Joey Buttafuoco. And, but so whenever I hear, it does take a lot of effort for me to have to go to Long Island Lolita when I say Long Island Medium.
When you said, and this is not really connected, but when you said, and now we're just kind of all over the place, when you said I had a hotel, the whole gamble thing, what it triggered in my head made me think of, did you know, amidst all this chaos, confusion, stuff happening in Ukraine and all that, apparently Louis C.K. is on tour in Eastern Europe.
Really?
Yes, and he had shows set for, I guess, this week or maybe next week in Ukraine, in Kyiv.
Really?
Yeah, it was this whole thing that, like, he was saying they're going to do everything within their power to push these shows through and to continue because he doesn't want to not do the shows.
Has he been blacklisted that bad where he's got to go to war zones to do
apparently
a Chuckle Hut?
I'm only working Warsaw next week, folks. I'm doing the North Korean Chuckle Hut in 2 weeks.
After that, I'm going to do Beirut, and then we'll follow it up with Mogadishu.
My first question was, are there that many English speakers over there, or does Louis C.K. speak Ukrainian?
That would kind of be funny. If he's just like, Das Vidanya, am I right?
Perestroika.
I don't know. Maybe his jokes translate better in Ukrainian.
I don't actually know.
Didn't they get canceled though?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
He got Me Too'd. Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, well, I'm not surprised he's only working Eastern Europe. I'm just like, but that seems like a very odd place to do a comedy show. I know everybody deserves a little levity and to laugh, but
so let me ask this: is like Roseanne Barr over there too? And
do you think it's
what's her name? The one who had the Trump's head.
Kathy Griffin.
Kathy Griffin. You think she's hanging out over there too?
So here's what it is: the Eastern European countries get our canceled comics the way the African countries get our wrong Super Bowl t-shirts. We just send the rejects over to Warsaw. We'll be working Romania next week.
Bunch of people Bengals t-shirts and they're going to watch Louis C.K. wear their Bengals Super Bowl
champion Bengals t-shirts. Yep.
Maybe.
I think we just cracked the code. There it is.
I think we did too.
Paula Poundstone coming to Bucharest in May.
What happened to her, by the way?
I don't know. She's rocking shoulder blades somewhere or shoulder pads somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, she didn't get got obscure.
Well, she didn't get canceled. I think she was able to duck out before.
Did she say something?
No, but you gotta imagine she did things with kids. I mean, the way she was so as closely. I shouldn't. This is all speculation from Sean Smalls at this point, but she looks like somebody that did something sometime to someone, doesn't she?
She's an odd person.
I think there was a whole thing about her doing something with kids. Actually, hang on.
I wonder if Kevin Spacey went to.
Oh, maybe Spacey's over
there.
Yes,
Spacey's doing the tour.
They got a meeting. They all hang out over there.
Let's see. Yeah, okay. See? Okay, good.
Did she get it?
It was a speculation.
Okay.
Oh, thank God. I knew I remembered something. Comedian Paula Poundstone was arrested in 2001. Charged with multiple counts of lewd conduct upon a child and child endangerment. I shouldn't be like, whew, she didn't touch those kids. But At least I wasn't speculating wildly. I would go do country radio.
You weren't throwing out slanderous just thoughts about your head. That guy looks like a pedophile.
Go to the video feed right now at ksbptv.com if you want to know what it looks like when Sean Smalls blushes. I'm just going to go to country radio.
That was fun. All right, let's do this. I'm going to pause for some. I want to talk about a show and watch on Netflix, and I got time now. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and pause for news update. We'll get you into your Chaves County sports update brought to you by DSI. Quick break as well. And then we'll come back. I want to talk about a show I'm watching on Hulu right now. It's pretty good. Less about Paula Poundstone. All right. I haven't said that name in 30 years. All right, we'll be back. Don't go away.
Now for the Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Sorello. Unofficial results are in, and it appears Roswell Mayor Dennis Kintai has lost his bid for re-election by a very slim margin. In the unofficial results, Timothy Jennings received 2,420 votes to Kintai's 2,363. Guy Malone and Ava Tellez finished a distant third and fourth. In the Roswell Ward 1 seat, Christina Arnold has defeated James Edwards, 56 to 44%. Ward 2, Juliana Halverson fended off two challengers in Margaret Rogers Kennard and Joseph Horn. And in Ward 3, Edward Heldenbrand defeated Judy Stubbs. In Ward 4, Robert Korn defeated four challengers. In Artesia, George Mullen has easily defeated Jeremy Kern for the District 2 council seat. Wade Nelson won the District 3 race, and Richard Townley easily won the District 4 seat. In the Artesia mayor's race, Jonathan Henry has fended off four challengers with 45% of the vote. And in Lovington races, Howard Roberts won the City Council District 3 seat. That was the only race there that was contested. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
A CNN host, Brian Stelter, known for his outlandish statements and opinions, has done it again. He's claiming on behalf of CNN and all television media that this war was bringing views back to, in his words, trusted and established news outlets. Maybe cable news is seeing an uptick in ratings, but look at what they're showing you, social media, even on CNN, Fox, and MSNBC. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by CarShield. Hate expensive repairs? Get protected at carshield.com/Kim and save 10%. A deductible may apply. There is no question the Ukraine invasion is a social media war, the world's first. Many of the television interviews are with Ukrainians who already have a social media following. Many war scenes and destructions are shot on smartphones by citizens. Everyday Twitter is filled with hundreds of small video clips shared directly to the world and bypassing all the big networks. Stelter has it backwards. The world is watching this war on social media. Get breaking tech news at Commando.com. I get questions from small business owners every day, and one of the big ones is how to find and hire the right people. It can be tough, but that's where LinkedIn Jobs comes in. They make it easier to find the people you want to talk to, faster and for free. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Job to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience, and then use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified people. You can also use simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates worth interviewing faster. Did you know that every week, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? And you can post your job for free right now at linkedin.com/Kim. That's linkedin.com/Kim. Terms and conditions apply. That's linkedin.com/Kim.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Our fair trend continues over the next couple of days and pretty mild. We'll be around 70 to 75 today and plenty of sunshine and not too windy. It'll be clear for the overnight hours, mid-30s, and then we're in the mid-70s with more clouds coming in on Thursday as low pressure starts to move into our area and a little more gusty, low 80s and sunny Friday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Hey, New Mexico. Experiencing issues keeping your office technology up to date with these crazy supply chain issues? Well, DSI is here to help. We've diversified our products and solutions to help your business not just survive, but thrive in any situation. Have your teams collaborate and share with high-def video walls and interactive smart panels. With free unlimited support, the fear of any new technology is a thing of the past. Contact DSI today to upgrade your workspace. www.dsinm.com.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Well, we're in the clear for a couple of days before the state basketball tournaments begin. Girls on Friday, guys on Saturday. Let's talk some baseball. The Roswell Coyotes and Goddard Rockets have both begun the season. They're both still seeking their first victory. Roswell on Thursday will be playing a doubleheader against Alamogordo. That starts at 5:30. It's been a rough go to begin with for the Coyotes. They were playing at a Rio Rancho tournament last weekend, lost to Belen, Piedra Vista, and Cleveland. Have yet to score a run, so we're hoping for better things starting tomorrow with the Coyotes. Goddard, meanwhile, is 0-2 after losing a pair at Las Cruces this past Saturday. They'll be playing another doubleheader versus Farmington this Saturday. That'll be at Cleveland High in Rio Rancho. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. The International Energy Agency's 31 member countries agreed Tuesday to release 60 million barrels of oil from their strategic reserves, half of that from the United States, to send a strong message to oil markets that supplies won't fall short after the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The board of the Paris-based IEA made the decision at a meeting of energy ministers chaired by U.S. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm. She said in a statement that U.S. President Joe Biden approved a commitment of 30 million barrels and that the U.S. is ready to take additional measures if needed. Britain on Tuesday banned any ship with Russian connections from entering its ports as the country stepped up efforts to isolate President Vladimir Putin's government because of the attack on Ukraine. The British Transport Secretary encouraged other countries to prohibit ships tied to Russia from using their ports. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
The Fergalicious boys can keep you hot this winter. Fergalicious. Oh yeah, it's getting cold out there, and Fergie's Plumbing and Heating has what you need to keep things hot in your home. They can come by and winterize your pipes and check your insulation, and you know they'll do it with nothing but love. Oh yeah, baby. Call the Fergalicious boys at Fergie's Plumbing and Heating at 622-2660. When you need it hot, Fergie's is on the job. Fergalicious.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. The education assistance I received made it possible for me to be the first person in my family to go to school and graduate debt-free. That education helped get me to the first day at my dream job, a job that I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job, plus the other benefits possible from the Army National Guard, helped me become a first-time homeowner. Also, part of my role as a National Guard soldier means I know that I can be one of the first to respond and help my community if disaster ever strikes. I'm extremely proud that I get to serve my community, and that first step I took by joining the Army National Guard has made all the difference in my life. Talk to your local recruiter or visit NationalGuard.com to find out what firsts are available to you in the Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the New Mexico Army National Guard, aired by the New Mexico Broadcasters Association and this station.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The Procrastinators Club of America newsletter is called Last Month's Newsletter. Their first newsletter should be released any day now. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 7:48. Hey, don't forget, you got one more weekend chance opportunity to see Four Old Broads, Roswell Community Theater's current production. The last weekend to check out performances is this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday and Saturday evening performances at 7:30. Sunday matinee at 2:30. Tickets are available online at RoswellTheater.com. That's Roswell, TheaTre.com. You can get tickets at the door as well. I went and saw it last Saturday night. Funny play. They do an amazing job with it. You're gonna have the cast is great. The director, everybody. It's a great production. It's $10. It's a fun date. Make it a great date night for you. Some of the jokes and things, it's very, think of Golden Girls, that type of humor. Some of the humor's probably a little bit more adult. It's not like, filthy or no, it's fine. But, there's a couple, words. They use adult words on a couple lines and things in there. So, maybe young kids stay home, but other older ones probably handle it just fine. But it's a fun show. Come have fun. Get tickets. Again, RoswellTheater.com, or you can get tickets at the door here. But 7:30 this Friday night, Saturday night, and then 2:30 on Sunday. That's it. That's their final one. And then way off Broadway, they're getting ready to do. They're getting ready to have The Sound of Music, that their production coming out. So get tickets for that too. And I know right after For All Broads, the Community Little Theater, they're going to be gearing up for Clue. And matter of fact, I believe, I want to say like the 7th or something like that, they're going to be doing auditions for Clue. So again, go to RoswellTheater.com to learn more information about that if you'd like to be a part of their next production there too. Speaking of productions, I as folks that listen to the show, I'm late to the ball game. I finally got a Hulu account. I borrowed my brother's for a while there, and then I think they got on to us because I got locked out after a while. So I ponied up the $6 a month. So I got the cheap one with the ads. So I ponied up for that. And I've been watching something. I mean, I've been talking about Letterkenny, all these shows that I've kind of got into, but the most recent show that I'm into now is a miniseries. It's called 11/22/63, and it's a Hulu original content. It's if fans of Stephen King are familiar with this, it's based off a Stephen King book, also titled 11/22/63, and that's a date. It's the date John F. Kennedy was assassinated. And so
you were saying it has like a fantasy.
Yeah, it's Stephen King. Yeah, it's Stephen King. So it's a Stephen King tale.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody knows Stephen King. They put twists on things. But the premise of this one is around the JFK assassination, and it's pretty. I've watched I think 5 of the episodes or 6 of the episodes so far, and it's like 7 or 8 or I don't know how many are. And I'm not even sure if it's going to be a second season. I don't know. I just saw it on Hulu and I said, I'm going to start watching this, and start watching it. And so here's the premise. It's got a confused. James Franco stars in it.
Yes.
There's a couple character actors that I've seen in a bunch of stuff. I just don't know their names that you see in the show. Josh Duhamel's in it for a couple of episodes. Spoiler: he does.
Duhamel? I guess it's Duhamel.
Josh Duhamel. Josh Duhamel. No, he doesn't play anybody famous, but
okay.
So basically, the premise of the show. Chris Cooper's in it too.
Okay.
If you all know him, but it's Franco's the main character. Basically, the premise of the series is, if you've read the book. I don't know how closely it follows the book. I have no idea. I've never read the book, so I can't tell that. But the premise, based on other now that it's the TV series, it might be closer to the book. I know for a fact, if you watch some movies that were converted from Stephen King books, not even close in a couple cases. Like Hearts in Atlantis, if you ever seen that movie with, what's his name? Hannibal Lecter. What is his name?
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins, yeah, starring Anthony Hopkins. Thank you.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I watched the movie years ago, and I was like, that's not bad, pretty good. And then I read the book, and then I realized how awful that movie is, because the book is a whole big story. The movie only covers the first 100 pages of the book. The reason why the thing's called Hearts in Atlantis isn't even addressed in the movie.
Wow.
Like, there's no connection to Hearts in Atlantis in the movie. You have to read the book to understand why it's called Hearts in Atlantis. That's how dumb that is.
That's crazy.
But anyway, so I don't know if they did that to this. The fact that it's a series, as a TV series opposed to a movie, makes me think it's a better chance it follows the book closer because they've got more time to tell that story. But anyway, so the premise of the story is James Franco lives in Maine, 2016. He's a teacher, high school teacher.
Okay.
He also teaches, I think, adults night school kind of thing. He's a teacher. Lives in a small town in Maine there.
Is that when the book was written too, 2016?
I'm guessing, yeah. It's one of his more recent ones, so he probably wrote it around that time.
Okay.
I know it released around that. I remember seeing it come out on bookshelves, and it was new, and it was a bestseller for a while and all that. But so James Franco lives in this small town. He's a teacher, and then he's friends with the people in the small town, and he's at a diner one day, and he's having his lunch, and his wife serves him divorce papers while he's there at the diner. Chris Cooper runs the diner he's at. So Chris Cooper comes in, gives him his food and stuff, then disappears. The divorce comes, and then Chris Cooper comes back, sees the divorce thing, the wife leaves, and then Chris Cooper, who's kind of friends, they're close, I don't know, they're friendly. Franco and him are close. I don't know if they're related. I don't know if it's like his dad or just, I don't remember that part. But anyway, so at that point, Chris Cooper proceeds to tell him, I've got something to tell you. He's dying of cancer. So he tells him that. I'm dying of cancer. He's like, oh, man. He goes, but that's not important. What I want to show you is this. And he tells him to go through a closet. He'd go through a closet in his diner there. And he says, just go through the closet, take all the time you need. I'll talk to you when you come back. He goes into the closet, and he turns out, when he goes through the closet, he goes through a portal of time and ends up in 1960, 3 years before the Kennedy assassination.
Okay.
And so Chris Cooper, who's now dying with cancer, wants to pass the mantle on to Franco. He's like, look, I don't know how this portal got here. I don't know, but you can only go through it, and then it goes to 1860. You come back, it's to time here, but when you go back through, it resets. So it's not like you can't come back and forth and advance a story in 1860. If you come back, it resets. You go back to the same spot, same time, and so you, in essence, have to start over again on some things. Okay. Now, if you come back, whatever you did changes, but if you go back, it's Stephen King.
Right.
Anyway, forget the semantics there. He ends up. So Franco takes the thing and he goes into 1860 to stop, and then of course he runs into people, and he's basically living his life in 1860, trying to find out if Oswald's the killer, and basically going to stop Kennedy from being killed. But of course, he's there for 3 years. Life happens. He's meeting people. Things are happening. Things are changing. And according to Chris Cooper, it says the more you alter the future, the more the future fights back.
Right.
And
right.
so
that's
like nefarious, weird accidents happen. And I'm guessing that's how Chris Cooper gets cancer. That's kind of when he comes. I haven't finished the series. I'm still in the middle of it. But
so Chris Cooper goes back in time to JFK, not James Franco?
Well, he did it first. He was doing all this, and he was there for 2 years. That's at that time I was him at the diner. When he came back to thing, he was gone for 2 years. He basically, in their world, he went and gave him food, came back and gave him the bill. But in reality, he was gone 2 years, came back. He got cancer, everything happened. That's when he said, I don't know what's going on, but we got to stop this. This is my goal. Can you do it, James Franco?
Okay.
And so James Franco then starts. But he's got to start from ground one because as soon as he crosses, everything's at 1860 or 1960. So he's got to go and do that. So that's the premise of the series. And so I'm about 6 episodes in. And
so the time spent in the past is the same time you spent.
No, because if you go
gone from the present.
Yeah, if you go, if he came back through, he's going to show up right at the same time he did when he left.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, what moments pass. It's that it's different. It's so yeah, and so I don't know how it's going to end or how they're going to wrap it up, but so far I'm a hook, line, and sinker into it. Granted, my love of history and things, and I've always liked reading and watching things about the JFK assassination. So that piqued my interest getting it in, and now I'm watching. I'm kind of into it. So it's got enough history where it makes me happy, and because you're dealing with Oswald and his wife, and they're going into Parkland. It's all that stuff. It's pretty good. So I recommend it. If you like that kind of thing, it's called 11/22/63. It's on Hulu, and it's a Hulu original series. And, it's a Stephen King book, based off a Stephen King book. Good stuff so far.
Yeah, I love stuff like that where they take history and sort of rewrite it.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that too. But we'll see. I don't know. Hopefully they don't blow the ending. I'll tell you if I get mad later. But anyway, it's closing in on 8 o'clock. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Next hour, we're going to play our interview with Paul Gessing of the Rio Grande Foundation. He joined us last Thursday. We'll come up next to that. Town Hall News up next. Don't go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The Russian invasion of Ukraine is now a week old, and it is intensifying. A massive Russian military convoy continues to threaten Kiev.
It is eerily quiet, given what has been happening on the outskirts of the city with those large reinforcements arriving, that 40-mile convoy, given a sustained offensive that's continuing in the west of the city by the Hostomel airfield, and given what we are seeing in Kharkiv especially with that intense fighting.
The BBC's James Waterhouse in the Ukrainian capital. President Biden is vowing that Vladimir Putin will pay a price. White House correspondent Greg Clugston on last night's State of the Union address.
Addressing the Congress and the country, the president said the U.S. was taking further steps to isolate Russia.
I'm announcing that we will join our allies in closing off American airspace to all Russian flights.
He declared that dictators such as Putin must pay a price, or dangers to the U.S. and the world will only grow.
And the Republican response, Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds brought it.
The disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal did more than cost American lives. It betrayed our allies and emboldened our enemies.
And on Capitol Hill, a symbolic show of support for Ukraine.
The House is set to vote on a resolution sponsored by Representatives Greg Meeks, a Democrat of New York, and Michael McCall, a Republican of Texas, that asserts House support for Ukraine's sovereignty and a ceasefire. The bill reads, quote, "The House of Representatives stands steadfastly, staunchly, proudly, and fervently behind the Ukrainian people and their fight against the authoritarian Putin regime. The resolution is non-binding and does not actually do anything."
Correspondent Bernie Bennett. Ukraine says the Russians have killed more than 2,000 civilians in the past week. Price of crude oil shot past $110 per barrel this morning. Wall Street stocks higher. Right now, the Dow is up 328 points. The NASDAQ 74 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, I'm cute kid number 1. And I'm cute kid number 2. And we have been forced, you mean hired? We have been hired to tell you what direct lender FOMO is. So let's say you buy a new home, and maybe you use one of those big mortgage monsters. Or someone your realtor or friend recommends. And then a few months later, you hear us being forced, hired to tell you about our mortgage team's direct lender advantage. And then you feel like you missed out, because you probably did miss out. And that is direct lender FOMO.
It's Ryan, and our mortgage team is an arm of a bigger company who is a direct lender, which means our company gets to use its own money and make its own decisions within its own walls. There's no middleman. This often allows us to get you a better rate on that new home mortgage, saving you monthly and lifelong money. We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Melville Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Line bracket NMLS number 65233. Equal housing lender. I licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
Police in New Zealand breaking up a protest against COVID vaccine mandates. Demonstrators spent several weeks camped outside of Parliament.
Protesters were seen throwing bricks and chairs at police, who pushed them back using riot shields and rubber bullets. Fires were also started at the protest camp, which has housed hundreds of demonstrators since early last month. Officers made arrests on Wednesday morning, vowing to keep going until the camp was cleared. They then moved in again, forcing remaining crowds to disperse. There were reports of more violence as protesters spilled onto the streets, with people urged to avoid the city centre. Wellington's railway station was also closed.
The BBC's Simon Atkinson. The number of new coronavirus cases reported worldwide dropped by 16% last week, marking a month-long decline in COVID infections. That according to figures from the World Health Organization. News and analysis, townhall.com. All those shiny new cars, the bottom of the ocean. This after a massive cargo ship on its way to the U.S. from Germany sank in the mid-Atlantic.
That's nearly 2 weeks after a fire broke out on board. The Felicity Ace sank about 250 miles off Portugal's Azores Islands as it was being towed. A salvage team had put out the fire. The ship was transporting new electric and non-electric vehicles. Suspicion on what started the fire has fallen on lithium batteries used in electric vehicles, but authorities have no firm evidence about the cause. A Portuguese Air Force helicopter evacuated the 22 crew members when the fire first broke out. John Scott reported.
Inflation is on fire across Europe, hitting a record high for the fourth month in a row, 5.8% annual rate in February. Once again on Wall Street this hour, the S&P is up 44 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
Feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
Los Dos.
Mornings with Mike Winters. Right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Yeah, so I was kind of talking. Check out 11/22/63.
You know, I've heard really good things about that.
Yeah, I was talking a little bit about it on the top of the last hour here, just kind of checking. Like I said, I'm about 5 or 6 episodes in, so I haven't. And I don't know. It's just season 1. I always see that. I know that doesn't mean there's a season 2, and I'm like, well, if you call it season 1, logic dictates there should be a season. So I have no idea.
Right.
And to be honest, I don't know how it ends. I've never read the book, so I don't know if the story keeps going or it just ends after. I don't know. But I will find that out when I finish.
Time travel stuff is really, really, really hard to do the right way. And I say this because I'm a fan of the show Rick and Morty that has a lot of very odd, very out there concepts about multiverse theory and about a lot of, scientific concepts that actually exist in the realms of science. But they literally, in the show, have a box on a shelf that says time travel stuff. They have put time travel on the shelf because they don't want to deal with the ramifications of working time travel into a story and how complex that makes it. So a show as complex as Rick and Morty says, we're not going to deal with time travel right now.
Would you say that you need a pretty high IQ to enjoy Rick
I
and Morty?
I would argue yes, an IQ of 150 or higher.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I've never watched it, so
it requires a superior intellect. That's just a meme. That's just a meme online. People always, well, if you to understand Rick and Morty and the complexities therein, you must have higher. It's just funny. But that is one thing. Time travel is a hard concept to wrap one's head around.
Well, if it eases people's minds, this is a Stephen King book.
And that actually helps a lot because I feel like if anybody's going to be able to understand the intricacies of it, it'd be him.
And Stephen King is involved in this show as well. He's in the credits as a more than just writer.
Right.
I think he's a producer or whatever they give to, people like him and those kind of things. But it was good. It's good. I'm digging it. I'm looking forward to finishing up and seeing how this is going to end. If you don't like James Franco, you're not going to like it because it's all Franco. It's James Franco. Chris Cooper's in it in sporadic parts. He's in it more in the first parts of the episodes. Josh Duhamel's in it for a little bit. So, ladies, you do get it. But
ladies,
I'm going to tell you, ladies, you're not going to like Josh Duhamel in this one. Josh Duhamel doesn't play a good person.
Well, I mean,
spoiler.
It's arguable because a lot of times, the less likable figures in certain series. They tend to get the ladies' attention.
And I will tell you this too: if you don't like if you're like, oh, I'm not watching a history series or whatever, it's not that. It's a it's a thriller. It's a Stephen King story. It's not the gory, but it's that, Shawshank, all those that twists and turns that he does in his
Stephen
stuff.
King is really good at the mind screw, at the mind mess. He can mess with one's mind, take it and like psychologically damage you, honestly, because you look at like Hostel or like one of the more gory, like Saw, for example. Yeah. One of the more gory horror franchises or films from the last couple of decades. Those don't mess me up as much as like Pet Sematary did.
Yeah.
And maybe it was the age that I was when I watched it, but the concept of the movie Pet Sematary really messed with me.
You know what movie kind of, and it's not one of his more relevant ones. Thinner.
Thinner was a weird one for sure.
That one kind of got me. At Pupil is a Stephen King, by the way.
See, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that was a Stephen King movie.
Okay, that's a short story.
Yeah.
He has a book called 4 Seasons or Seasons or something like that, and it's short stories. Rita Hayworth at Shawshank is one of them, which is Shawshank Redemption.
Sure.
The Body, which is Stand By Me.
Okay.
At Pupil, which is the story of the Russian, or not Russian, the German hiding and the Nazi hiding.
Right.
There's another one in there, and I can't remember what it is. And then he wrote some stories that turned into movies under a pen name.
You're right.
Like Running Man's one of those.
Well, Stephen King's not his actual name.
I have no idea what his name is.
Pretty sure he's got a.
I just know he's from Maine.
Yeah, but I think
that's why all those stories take place in Maine.
I want to say Stephen King is his pen name, or that the other one is. I'm not sure. One of those is his actual name.
I'm trying to remember the pen name now. Richard something. I can't remember what it is. But Running Man was one of those in that series that he wrote under the pen name. And
the one that always gets me, and again, maybe more of the well-known ones, but Misery. That one always got in my head a little bit.
Yeah.
Kathy Bates, just seeing Kathy Bates kind of lose her mind slowly over the course of the movie.
Well, I mean, shoot, half of your thriller movies from the 90s and are probably, 70% of them are Stephen King.
Right.
He just, I imagine, it's like Richard something, isn't it? What his pen name was?
Richard Bachman.
Bachman, there it is.
Yep.
That's the name.
Richard Bachman.
Yeah, that's the name.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was something.
So maybe Stephen King is his actual name. 7 of his books, in fact, most of them published early in his career between 77 and 85. Those were the years when King, a newly established young writer, published secretly under his pseudonym of choice, Richard Bachman, enjoying the anonymity for quite some time before his cover was blown.
Yes. By the way, I love the Running Man movie.
Mm-hmm. Not a fan of the dance?
I just, that movie made me laugh every time.
It is weird.
It was, the dance, I'd have no opinion. You do you on the Running Man dance. If it works for you, God bless you. But anyway, the book,
right?
Not the same.
Mm-hmm.
The only similarity, the Arnold Schwarzenegger character's name's the same, Richard. But the Running Man book, it's like, if you saw the movie, it's like they're like in a little
bubble thing. It's
and they have these little. In the movie, he's not a criminal. It was almost like a contest. Like, he was poor, and he wanted to be rich and famous, so he entered in the Running Man contest. And so the premise is they get hunted down by the thing, but they're not in an arena. It's like a fugitive, like the movie The Fugitive. You're on the loose in the public, out and about, and so they're trying to hunt him, and that's the whole premise of the. Where I think the movie, he's like a military guy that they framed that looked like he killed people, and so they make him a bad guy, and then he ticks somebody off, and I don't remember the premise of the movie. They throw him in the thing.
I saw it once like 20 years ago.
It's nothing like that in the book. No Richard Dawson in the book either. Sorry. And Richard Dawson hosted Family Feud, young folks. If you're like, who's that guy? He hosts the game show in the show, but he was host for Family Feud for many years.
He was the guy that everybody he would like kiss all the women.
Yep.
Yeah, and then fondle the men. Weirdly, he had weird tastes.
He does kiss Arnold. No, I'm just kidding. What I want is those spandex jumpsuits they put him in. Remember the in the Running Man where Arnold's in it. And,
my God, yeah.
The lady, what was her name? Conchita. Oh, she was kind of famous at the time. Conchita Alonso or something. Maria Conchita Alonso. Does that sound right?
That sounds actually more right than anything I would have come up with.
Yeah, she was the love interest, I guess you could say. But they put him in those spandex onesies with the rainbow colors. It looks like kind of looked like that dude from the 80s who had all the body parts on his spandex.
I think you nailed it. Yeah, you nailed it. Maria Conchita Alonso.
Aye. Got it. I thought, and my brain is working this morning. See, that's the kind of stuff that's buried in my head.
But she's still fine.
Is she?
Not bad looking.
I'm guessing she's in her 60s now.
Yeah, up there. Let's see, Richard Dawson. I'm trying to see anybody else. Stephen King. Dweezil Zappa was in it.
Oh, what's his name was in it too?
Jesse Ventura.
The Body. Yeah,
Yep.
Jesse the Body.
Jesse
was
Ventura.
in it.
Mick Fleetwood was in it.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
What was he?
Mick.
Oh, I know who he was. There's like an underground people like that live like, and help him. I think he's one of those people.
Hold on. Professor Tanaka was in this movie? The wrestler.
Oh, was he Sub-Zero?
Yes, he was.
Sub-Zero, one of my favorite gladiators. He played a hockey guy. Remember the guy, the skating right, the goalie pads?
Right. Oh,
yeah.
Wow. I've got to go back and watch that movie again. That is chock full of cheese.
I remember. It's weird. I remember these things. I saw the movie.
It is very odd that you were able to pull Maria Conchita Alonso.
I've seen the movie a million times. I have not watched it since probably the 90s. But
yeah, I only ever saw it like the one time, and I think I fell asleep halfway through it. So I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, because it's full of the Arnold lines, like the ones I let him go. It's got of those like Buzzsaw. What happened to Buzzsaw? He had to split. He does that move in there. And Buzzsaw was a guy with chainsaws.
Slides up to Sub-Zero, goes, "Nice to meet you."
Yeah, he said something. I don't remember. But
well, that was his line from Batman Forever when he was Mr. Freeze. So, "Nice to meet you."
It's filled with enough cheese, but enough fun. I mean, to me, it's just a good time. It's just a good time movie full of cheese. You know what? I kind of want to watch it now.
Well, I mean, yeah, that ringing endorsement. I haven't seen it in years. I have to go back.
Oh yeah, it's so. And then, because Jesse the Body plays like all-American bad, the tough, whatever they call them, the gladiator type dudes. I don't remember. But anyway, we're going to play. We have an interview. We got real stuff going on this hour. Paul Gessing from the Rio Grande Foundation joined us last Thursday. I had a chance to talk with him a little bit and talk a little bit about legislative session, talk also a little bit about the gubernatorial race. So we'll play that conversation for you here in just a little bit. It's about 17 minutes or so. Later on this hour, we'll get you up to date with local news along with your Wall Street business update and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show. Before we do any of that, let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Our fair trend continues over the next couple of days and pretty mild. We'll be around 70 to 75 today and plenty of sunshine and not too windy. It'll be clear for the overnight hours, mid-30s, and then we're in the mid-70s with more clouds coming in on Thursday as low pressure starts to move into our area and a little more gusty, low 80s and sunny Friday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 46 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 18%. Winds are, in fact, calm at the moment. Sunny today, mid-70s for a high. Winds will be out of the southeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 35. Southwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Thursday, 76 and mostly cloudy. But warm. Winds will be out of the north, 5 to 10 in the morning, 10 to 15 for the afternoon. Thursday night, mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 45, south winds 10 to 15. Friday, sunny and warm with a high of 81, but breezes. Winds will be out of the south early, 10 to 15. Later in the day, picking up 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. And then looking at the weekend, sunny 76 for Saturday. Sunny 69 on Sunday. All right, it is 18 minutes after 8 o'clock. Where'd that? Okay, I just saw something fall. I was like, hey, I had a doppelganger. Never mind. It's all good. That's an old one. Sorry, inside baseball. It is 8:19. Let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and then we'll play our interview with Paul Gessing of the Rio Grande Foundation. That's coming up next. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Members of Central Valley Electric Cooperative are invited to attend the 2022 annual meeting to be held Saturday, March 19th at the Estelle Yates High School Auditorium in Artesia, New Mexico. Come meet your fellow co-op members, hear about the status of your electric co-op and what is planned for the future. There will be door prizes and a nice gift. Plus, the first 200 members to register will each receive a $50 gift card. Limit 1 card per membership. Registration begins at 9 a.m. The annual meeting begins at 10 a.m. Mark your calendar and please attend the Central Valley Electric Co-op annual meeting March 19th in Artesia, New Mexico. We look forward to seeing you there.
There's a whole universe out there. Come explore at the International UFO Museum and Research Center, featuring engaging exhibits and in-depth first-hand accounts of the incident that put Roswell on the map. The research library features the most comprehensive collection of UFO research materials in the world, and you can get exclusive one-of-a-kind gifts and merch from the gift shop or online at roswellufomuseum.com. Don't forget about the UFO Festival, July 1st through 3rd, celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Roswell incident. The International UFO Museum and Research Center. It's otherworldly.
If you're a person who has more to do than you have hours in your day, and everything seems to take priority over your own health, then you're going to love the Loveless MyChart Secure Patient Portal. You can message your doctor, make an appointment, or view lab results anytime, day or night, on your computer or smartphone. Print a list of your medications at the click of a mouse, or even compare previous tests to map your health progress. Loveless MyChart connects you to better health, anywhere, anytime.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the New Mexico Army National Guard. Aired by the New Mexico Broadcasters Association and this station.
The 2022 baseball season is gearing up for your Goddard Rockets and Roswell Coyotes. And in southeastern New Mexico, the place to go for all things Coyotes and Rockets is KSVPTV.com. Coming up on Thursday, your Roswell Coyotes square off in a doubleheader against the Tigers of Alamogordo, live from Joe Bauman Park. Coverage for this game begins at 5 p.m. on KSVPTV.com. Keep up with games all season long by clicking the Goddard Rockets or Roswell Coyotes tab at KSVPTV.com, Southeastern New Mexico's sports authority.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Movie trailers were originally shown after the movie, which is why they're called trailers. Mike thought they named them after the mobile home. Here's Mike Winters.
And welcome back to the morning show. And joining us in studio this morning from the Rio Grande Foundation, it's been a while, but Paul Gessing back with us. Morning, Paul.
Hey, Mike. Good to be with you.
Good to be back, and good to have you back, and great to see you back. He's actually down visiting as we record this for some stuff here in Roswell. But first, got to ask thoughts on this. We just wrapped up the legislative session here, 30-day. Lot of stuff coming out of this with bills being passed and money being spent and a lot of talk on crime and things. Your overall thoughts on the good, the bad, the ugly from this last 30 days?
It could have been a lot worse, for sure, especially when you have politicians saying before a legislative session that they have more money than they know what to do with.
That's scary.
And there are a bunch of progressive Democrats, by and large. That is definitely scary. They definitely spent their money, more than their money. They spent our money. And really, they spent a lot of oil and gas money, some of it being also dumped into New Mexico from the federal government, printed up in Washington, D.C. And we weren't going to avoid a massive spending uptick. So we got over $1 billion in new spending. The last budget was 7.4 or thereabouts. We're at 8.5 after this. That is a massive uptick. It's about a 14% year-on-year growth, which is completely unsustainable.
Sure.
And, quite frankly, we will talk about tax cuts, and there were tax cuts pushed through the session, very welcome, but we could have done a lot more with that rather than spending all the money. But again, in New Mexico, with the progressive Democrats in charge and this governor, we were not going to get Rio Grande Foundation style policies.
That kind of, I want to ask about that. Speaking of money spending, one of the things that they did do this time was raises for teachers, things like that, which I'm not complaining, long overdue. My wife's a teacher. I'm happy about that stuff. But did that, in your opinion, is that happening this year because it's an election year, or is there more to it than that? I'm just wondering, was this the don't worry about all the stuff we're doing, here's some flakes over here while we do other things to the side, or was this a legitimate thing?
It's a combination.
Yeah.
First and foremost, inflation, as we know, is out of control. 7% or thereabouts. You can pick a number, but 7% is also the raises for the teachers. So in some ways, you could say it's not really a net raise for the teachers after all, because of the inflation challenge that we're all facing. So there's that. There's obviously an election year. And there's obviously the fact that the governor wants to be seen as doing something for education after, and we will talk about this plenty at the Rio Grande Foundation, locking our kids out of school for a year and the devastating impacts of that. Obviously masking for much of the rest of the time during the pandemic, and the studies that are coming out about that. So if you can't do something to actually improve student outcomes and help the kids, you can throw money at the system and look like you're doing something. And I know that's a very cynical view, but as somebody who has children who used to be in the public school system and no longer are because of what's happened over the last 2 years, I think I'm in a pretty good position, both politically, policy analyst-wise, and, of course, as a parent as well.
Absolutely.
To understand this.
Well, and you always wonder at some point when people are going to say enough. I mean, you look at statistics for New Mexico, and you can almost pick any category in the area of statistics. Education, one of them, and we're always bottom or near the bottom of these things. And yeah, you can throw money at things for a while there, but at some point you got to say, what's wrong with the policies and what's going on here? And you hope at one point somebody wakes up and says, clearly throwing money at it's not going to work. We need to look at what else is wrong here and why are we still at the bottom?
Exactly. And something I like to always talk about after a session is the dogs that don't bark, because it's easy to talk about the little chihuahuas that are always doing their thing and the issues that do come up in a particular legislative session. But real education reform, school choice, and reforming our system hasn't come up. And it doesn't come up because the teacher unions control the Democratic Party and the Democratic Party controls New Mexico. It's a very ironclad relationship there. So that's a real issue. Republicans have introduced bills to kind of take the money and put it behind the students instead of the bureaucracies. But they don't have any power in Santa Fe, and those bills tend to go absolutely nowhere.
Sure.
So, I think it's going to really take that kind of real rethinking of the system, and it's happening in other states. Numerous other states are passing laws to put the money behind the students, and these are some states like West Virginia that, actually I put West Virginia in the category of states that most resemble New Mexico politics-wise, economics-wise, socially, among the states. And West Virginia, they've made a shift to the right politically, and they've also embraced this money follow the students. So it's going to be a process, because anytime you do that kind of thing, you get lawsuits, and it's going to be slow. But if that system makes its way into effect, it will have a positive impact. And the other dog that didn't bark, and I'll throw this out there because it's related also to COVID, is Representative Greg Nybert has been the champion. It's been bipartisan, with Democrats of a certain extent getting on to the effort to restrain the governor's powers, not just this governor, but future governors in an emergency. And that's something that is very important to the Rio Grande Foundation. We very much support kind of the constitutional concept, separation of powers, all that stuff you learned in Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, exactly.
And the idea that one person, whoever they may be, should be making policies for the state by themselves for practically 2 years is not healthy for the state, the economy, and it's something that we really need to change. And unfortunately, Representative Nybert's legislation did not get really even a serious hearing during either session or the special sessions that have happened since last year. So those are kind of two of the dogs that didn't bark, so to speak, with this legislature.
Gotcha. So just out of curiosity, do you think they're going to bring it back for the 60-day next year, Heavy, or do you think they're going to let it die?
Well, my hope is that we get a better political situation up there.
We do have
in
election
Santa
between
Fe.
now and then.
We
Yes.
have an election. I'm going to definitely talk to Representative Nybert. My hope is that you even get a better legislative opportunity there in terms of if you have the chance to actually pass something that maybe you don't need to compromise it at the beginning. I think 30 days, 60 days, whatever the time period is fine. But to further really improve the bill, you need some kind of definition of what an emergency might be, because it's not a conspiracy. The conspiracy theory always used to be, that's just something you dismiss out of hand. Now, after 2 years of COVID, you're like, that conspiracy theory really turned out. And
Let's put stuff on the table.
Yeah, there's been a lot of those. So I think a lot of us are concerned that things like climate change will become the emergencies of the future, and we need to be able to define some of these non-emergency emergencies out of the equation for the purposes of empowering one person, even for a 30 or 60-day time period.
Let's talk election a little bit here and talk with the governor's race here. First, I want to ask, we've got our four candidates on the Republican side here. We obviously know who the Democrat's going to be here. We did have a few Republicans drop out and go independent here. Just from the logic you're hearing, is it just because of too crowded race on this side, or did they feel like they weren't getting? What was the logic behind trying to separate themselves from the Republican Party there?
Well, I think there's different groups that have done different things. There's Luis Sanchez, who's going to run for Congress, and I'm sure redistricting may have affected that decision, because when people declared for the governorship, they may not have known how those districts were going to be drawn, and the Democrats went pretty aggressive with their redistricting plans. So those seats, obviously Southeast New Mexico, kind of the epicenter for some of the controversy associated with those congressional districts. But splitting up Southeast New Mexico does provide an opportunity for some new people on the conservative side to get into these races. So, not gaining traction in that race, maybe seeing the writing on the wall there. Then, of course, the Libertarians still being a major party. So folks like Karen Bedoni jumping into that. And you've got four really serious candidates on the Republican side for governor. And, maybe they didn't think Governor Lujan Grisham would be vulnerable, but clearly she's popping up on these national lists as being a vulnerable governor. And I think that is an accurate statement. She's got a lot of money, but I think the right Republican could give her not just a run for her money, but possibly beat her.
And the Democratic Party right now isn't exactly solidarity one thing. There's a big crack in that party at the moment, too, here in New Mexico and across.
Numerous big cracks.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you've got the Cheryl Williams Stapleton scandal that is still working its way through the legal system. Voters have to be concerned about that, getting back to the education conversation. Then you have the DUI Representative Georgine Lewis situation, Brian Egolf riding off into the sunset, so to speak. And that wasn't, he can say that was all about spending time with the family, but there were obvious divisions within the Democratic caucus. Miguel Garcia, representative from South Valley and Albuquerque, expressed some consternation about Egolf's management style, and we did that as well. We're not part of the Democrat coalition, but we definitely expressed our concerns. And I think anybody with half a brain would have some concerns about the way he has approached things this year and over the years.
Sure.
And then, of course, now you've got a sexual harassment issue with Daniel Ivey Soto, a state senator. And I happen to think that it's more driven by politics, internal again to the Democratic Party, than a real issue with Ivy Soto.
Sure. But in this day and age, that's enough.
It's not good just to have that. Ivy Soto had that some impacts on that election bill. And I say that election bill because it was SB 8, then there's SB 6 in there as well. SB 144 is what it wound up being, and then that got killed. And so I really question the motives of somebody bringing up a 6-year-old case of sexual harassment. But that cannot help the Democratic caucus as they head into this November in the elections.
Sure. I want to talk about one more issue here before we let you get back to it. Redistricting here. Chavez County, as you know, we now will be represented by all 3 congressional districts. CD2, Yvette Harrell, who's been our representative for here, now pretty much just covers the boot hill of our county, and now we're the rest of the counties in the other districts here. How do you expect? What does that mean for us? I mean, a lot of people are upset because of representation. We get swallowed up, depending on part of where you're at here, Roswell. You're kind of in the Bernalillo County, Albuquerque part of it. Is there any silver lining here? Is it good, bad, ugly? I mean, I got to imagine that has to make Chavez County a battleground area for these representatives come election time. I mean, is it as bad as it seems, or is it as bad as it seems?
Well, it's pretty bad in the sense that the Democrats clearly intended to neuter, if you will, southeastern New Mexico, not just Chavez County, but all of southeast New Mexico and its political influence in these races. And obviously, the goal for the Democrats is to make all 3 members of the House here in New Mexico Democrats. Brian Egolf spelled that out. If you want to get back to qualms we all have with Brian Egolf, that's another one. But I think the opportunity here and what could work out well, not just for Chavez County, but southeast New Mexico, is that you're taking 1 seat, making it more competitive, and then making the other 2 seats more competitive as well in a year in which I think it's safe to say at this point, Republicans should be on the upswing in terms of making inroads in not just New Mexico, but in races across the country. So you could wind up, yes, you're going to be split allegiances, but you could also have more favorable representation in those seats once all is said and done. So,
gotcha.
I think the question, I guess, logistically will be, Albuquerque remains the population center in some ways for all of these seats and could be the epicenter. We could have 3 representatives representing New Mexico being from Albuquerque, and that's not ideal, obviously. You could theoretically have them here in southeast New Mexico, but you don't have the population, and it's going to be tough for somebody from southeast New Mexico, which, quite frankly, culturally is a lot more different from the rest of the state than Albuquerque is from the rest of the state. So it's not great for the state, and I think that they did that on purpose. And all I can say to that is that it just gives you further impetus for all your voters to get out and get fired up for November and really make sure that the folks who did that to this area, don't get away with it scot-free. Obviously, we've got 10 years before the next redistricting, and God knows what's going to happen by then. But that's the next time you'll have a chance at those lines.
Sure. We're about out of time here, but if folks want to learn more about the Rio Grande Foundation, perhaps even get involved in some of the doings of the Rio Grande Foundation, what's the best way to reach out and learn more?
Yeah, so we blog regularly at something called errorsoфenchantment.com. This is kind of our day-to-day updated website where we really outline our latest thoughts and research on certain issues. RioGrandeFoundation.org has not only information about the foundation, but it has our Freedom Index right now, which is our vote tracking site for the legislature. We do floor votes only. You can find out how various members of the delegation to the legislature in Southeast New Mexico did on issues of limited government, individual liberty. And so we assign point totals to the bills and point totals to the legislators themselves, and that's definitely worth checking out. So those are the two primary ways, and our contact information, if they want to give us a call, shoot us an email, that's all on those websites.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, folks, I know we've been talking municipal election, and I always say, educate yourself. When I always tell people, I don't almost care who you vote for as long as you do it educated with reasons you believe in and things like that. And that's no different with our bigger elections, too, with our elections for governor, representatives in the House and Senate, and, of course, our president here. And the Rio Grande Foundation is, I know, I've known you for years, and you guys really do a great job of trying to give information to people that isn't filtered with the political spin, with the stuff that comes with that, and say, look, here's the good and the bad, the ugly of the decisions being made. And that way, you know the straight scoop. And then when you do go to make your votes, you're voting for policy and not politics.
Exactly. Thank you, Mike.
Anyway, thank you. We look forward to seeing you. We'll see you again soon. All right, Paul?
Now for the Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Sorello. Unofficial results are in, and it appears Roswell Mayor Dennis Kintai has lost his bid for re-election by a very slim margin. In the unofficial results, Timothy Jennings received 2,420 votes to Kintai's 2,363. Guy Malone and Ava Tellez finished a distant third and fourth. In the Roswell Ward 1 seat, Christina Arnold has defeated James Edwards, 56 to 44%. Ward 2, Juliana Halverson fended off two challengers in Margaret Rogers Kennard and Joseph Horn. And in Ward 3, Edward Heldenbrand defeated Judy Stubbs. In Ward 4, Robert Korn defeated four challengers. In Artesia, George Mullen has easily defeated Jeremy Kern for the District 2 council seat. Wade Nelson won the District 3 race, and Richard Townley easily won the District 4 seat. In the Artesia mayor's race, Jonathan Henry has fended off four challengers with 45% of the vote. And in Lovington races, Howard Roberts won the City Council District 3 seat. That was the only race there that was contested. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Our fair trend continues over the next couple of days, and pretty mild. Will be around 70 to 75 today, and plenty of sunshine and not too windy. It'll be clear for the overnight hours, mid-30s, and then we're in the mid-70s with more clouds coming in on Thursday as low pressure starts to move into our area, and a little more gust. Meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. The International Energy Agency's 31 member countries agreed Tuesday to release 60 million barrels of oil from their strategic reserves, half of that from the United States, to send a strong message to oil markets that supplies won't fall short after the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The board of the Paris-based IEA made the decision at a meeting of energy ministers chaired by U.S. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm. She said in a statement that U.S. President Joe Biden approved a commitment of 30 million barrels and that the U.S. is ready to take additional measures if needed. Britain on Tuesday banned any ship with Russian connections from entering its ports as the country stepped up efforts to isolate President Vladimir Putin's government because of the attack on Ukraine. The British Transport Secretary encouraged other countries to prohibit ships tied to Russia from using their ports. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
We all have the power to prevent substance misuse and promote positive mental health in New Mexico. Whether by supporting someone who is going through a difficult time or talking about healthy habits with children at an early age, learn how at doseofwellness.com. That's doseofwellness.com. Doseofwellness.com. Sponsored by New Mexico Human Services Department.
There's a whole universe out there. Come explore at the International UFO Museum and Research Center, featuring engaging exhibits and in-depth first-hand accounts of the incident that put Roswell on the map. The research library features the most comprehensive collection of UFO research materials in the world, and you can get exclusive one-of-a-kind gifts and merch from the gift shop or online at RoswellUFOmuseum.com. Don't forget about the UFO Festival, July 1st through 3rd, celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Roswell incident. The International UFO Museum and Research Center. It's otherworldly.
If you're a person who has more to do than you have hours in your day, and everything seems to take priority over your own health, then you're going to love the Loveless MyChart Secure Patient Portal. You can message your doctor, make an appointment, or view lab results anytime, day or night, on your computer or smartphone. Print a list of your medications at the click of a mouse, or even compare previous tests to map your health progress. Loveless MyChart connects you to better health, anywhere, anytime.
Pecans are a big deal here in Chaves County. We have some of the biggest orchards in the country, and lots of us have pecan trees in our yards. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. Whether you have one pecan tree or 1,000 of them, this time of year, every pecan tree needs fertilizing. So come see us at Roswell Seed Company, and we'll get you fixed up with the right fertilizer for your pecan trees, so that next year, your nuts will be big and beautiful. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday, to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. The education assistance I received made it possible for me to be the first person in my family to go to school and graduate debt-free. That education helped get me to the first day at my dream job, a job that I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job, plus the other benefits possible from the Army National Guard, helped me become a first-time homeowner. Also, part of my role as a National Guard soldier means I know that I can be one of the first to respond and help my community if disaster ever strikes. I'm extremely proud that I get to serve my community, and that first step I took by joining the Army National Guard has made all the difference in my life. Talk to your local recruiter or visit NationalGuard.com to find out what firsts are available to you in the Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the New Mexico Army National Guard. Aired by the New Mexico Broadcasters Association and this station.
I'm Eric Butler with the Sunday Morning Classic Show. Hey, you know I've been known to say certain things on the show. Wait, whoa. Oh, man, that's classic.
My name is Sue. How do you do?
Classic. Giddy up. So classic. Oh, that's a classic. Oh, yeah, you should join me this Sunday for the Sunday Morning Classic Show.
Sunday 6 to 10 on 92.9 The Brand.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 95% of people text things they could never say in person. Check your text messages. We just sent you something. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:47. Thanks to Paul Gessing for joining us last week and having that conversation with him. You can check more about him out at the Rio Grande Foundation and learn more about what they do. We've been, of course, Paul's been on our radio waves for years talking about stuff relating to New Mexico politics there. You know, speaking of New Mexico or Roswell politics, of course, the election last night, and a lot of people commenting on Facebook and things, and I stumbled and I know I'm probably late to this one, but I just came in and found it. And be honest, I monitor, but I also stay away from at the same time the Facebooks and social media stuff because. Well, you know why. I mean, look at it. It's good, the bad, the ugly. All of it's right there, and which I don't have a problem per se. There's just so much uneducated responses or misinformed responses that it makes me just cringe sometimes. Just give you for instance, I found. I stumbled upon a Facebook group called Roswell Freedom Talk, and it's got about 700 some members, and I'm sure it's been around for a bit. I just found it today when somebody shared something about something and that I was connected to. I was like, oh, what's this about? And I clicked on it and started reading all the stuff that's going on, people talking about the election. And be careful, people. Be careful what you're reading on these pages. There's some good information, but oh my goodness, people are so misinformed and wrong. Like this one made me mad. I got mad. Well, this one did make me mad. Like somebody commented, this one did make me mad. The one I'm about to tell you later made me mad. This one, someone was like, why did it take till 9:21 for Country Club Church of Christ location for their ballot to get turned in? That's not accurate. I was at City Hall last night. 9:21, we were at home. That stuff was done and gone by then. Those ballot came in around 8:20, 8:30, somewhere in that time frame, and it was probably 15 minutes after the other ones kind of rolled in. Because right, and I'll tell you that I'll give you the timeline of at City Hall last night of good. And I was sitting in the room. So this isn't third party. This is me. I was sitting right there in that room, listening and watching and seeing things come in. I got there about 6:30, hung out, sat there, got set up, and just sat and waited. They were getting everything set up. Dave Kunko, who was former county clerk, he's helping the city during this election get through. Sharon Cole resigned as clerk there a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not sure if Dave was in prior to that or whatever, but they had Dave helping out with some of that stuff, volunteering. He's a good guy. It's what he does. So he was in there doing his thing, and by the way, he's very good at what he does. So to have him come off the bench to help out is kind of like Joe Montana coming off the bench to help out. It was a really cool deal. But anyway, so Dave was there, and they're all doing their thing, and then but he came in and said we should start seeing the early voting and absentee roll in about 7:15, and right around then, give or take, we saw those numbers pop up on the New Mexico Department of State website there. Then I'm going to say about 15, 20 minutes later, we started getting the first two precincts come in, voting districts. They came in. And I'd say within about 10 minutes after that, those numbers posted. And then right in a fast and fury, because I think there's six total of or seven. I don't remember off the top of my head, but whatever it is. Then we had the three or four more show up right thereafter within about 7:30, 7:45-ish. Between that time, it started rolling in. And then we waited about 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes. And then after 8, so I might be off a little bit on the time there, but it was about 20 minutes between the last that last fury group of votes coming in, and then the Country Club Church of Christ. That one did come a little later. I heard they did have some computer issues there. I know they were steady all day. That's where I voted at I think it was about 4 o'clock. I think I went and voted over at Country Club, and they had a line of people there when I was there about 6, 7. And from what I was hearing from the people working there at the poll, that it was a steady all day. The volunteers didn't even get a chance to take a lunch or nothing because it was just a steady. So they were busy, steady all day. But regardless, people coming out there saying it was 9:20 at night before those results came, that's not accurate. It was at least an hour before that, before it came in. And it was not grossly late compared to the other ones. It was a matter of 15, 20 minutes. It wasn't. So I know people were, and then, of course, someone puts it up there, and then everyone's, you know how that works. Fraud, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, none of that went. I'm just saying it because I know people are going to be, well, you're a rhino or you're whatever. Call me wherever you want. I don't care. You feel better about yourself, knock yourself out. I don't care. But I'll tell you, that's what happened last night because I was sitting in that room. So if you see anything different on Facebook, it's wrong. It's just flat out wrong. So I want to address that one. I know this is why I don't really get into these, because I'm going to spend the rest of the day doing nitpicking every single one of them. Another one that kind of, which it was a post that I completely agree with. That someone claiming that it's sad that only 5,000 plus people showed up to vote. 10% of the voting public voted last night, and he's talking about how sad that is, and they're right. They're absolutely right. But what made me mad, and this is what made me mad, is somebody had the gumption, and this is on them. I don't care. I do not care. Like I've been saying it the whole time. When you say vote, if you got reason, why you voted for someone, I'm good with all of that. But somebody commented on there, and I wanted to, this made me mad. They go, I didn't even know it was an election yesterday. Didn't even know. And then somebody said, well, barely a mention of it was, they mentioned it barely in the newspaper and flyers and the radio. And then a couple of people came in and said, are you crazy? And then the person chimed back, well, I really don't listen to radio, and I don't get on social media much, and I don't read the newspaper. And I'm like, well, whose fault is that? So you get on social media. Sorry, you have the gumption to get on social media and tell everybody you didn't know it was an election and blame it like it's like society's fault that you didn't know it was an election. And then you proceed to tell everybody, well, I don't listen to the radio, I don't watch TV, I don't go online, but you went online to tell people this, didn't you? Don't hand me that garbage. This is the hypocrisy of dumbness of people that I just want to slap you because you need it. Don't come online telling people that you didn't know about it and then proceed to tell them you don't watch nothing and then wonder why I didn't know nothing. Because I know for a fact we did not, and that's what people were saying. Like, it was all over the radio for weeks. It was all over this for weeks. How do you not know about this? And and I think it died. And then I got too frustrated and stopped and moved on. But I see this and I've been reading it and I haven't had a chance to. I just found the group about 20 minutes ago, so I started reading this and I chimed in on the one thing about the times. I had to chime in there because I was like, that's not accurate, please. And the other one I left alone because I'm gonna get hateful if I start it, because this is why I don't do it, because I read this dumbness and then I get like, are you kidding me? And I know y'all do the same thing, and we get, but I here's for funs and giggles, all right? I'm going to read you an exchange I read. I'm going to keep names out of it. I'm going to keep all of that out of this. But this is the kind of dumbness at which which people talk online and people believe this stuff. Let me see if I can find it again. That might be. It was basically two people just like complaining, like, you're rude. No, you're rude. You're angry. Why are you angry? I'm not angry. You're angry. You're the one putting an angry face. That is, this supposed to be a serious discussion. And it was literally hours of people going back and forth on the dumbest things. Oh my gosh. It's one of these things. Look, I get it. Either happy or not happy. There's people that are loving the results from last night. There's people that are hating it. And I get it. You're happy. I get all that. That's good. But to talk online of which you don't know of, just shut up. Sit down and listen. Stop being one to contribute, because you got the right. You absolutely do. But the more you do it, the more you're showing how stupid you are. Get educated. I mean, get involved. All of that. But that ain't it. Getting on a social media page and just pontificating your stuff doesn't get it done. And it's not even real. Half of it. Half of what they're saying. Some of it's very true. Some of it, and that's the sad part, is there's good points being made by some educated people all through, but it gets muddied and knocked down to its relevance because of all the dumb stuff in between and the idiot remarks of our stupid society. Feels like, man, he's hard. Yeah, we are stupid. Humanity is the dumbest thing on this planet. We are as a whole. We talk this, we believe this, and but at the end of the day, we're dummies. All of us. We're just a bunch of dummies. And we go running off cliffs for things that we believe are the gospel, and you turn out, well, and I will say this too. If you love the results, good for you. If you hated the results, it's not the end of the world. And I hate to tell you this, despite what everyone's saying online, not everyone out there is evil incarnate. Not everyone out there is the Antichrist. Not everyone out there is out to destroy your life. They just disagree with you. Okay? That's all it is. They just disagree with you. Take a chill pill, relax, go read a book that isn't politically motivated, go watch a TV show that isn't politically motivated, go learn a new skill, trade, hobby, go learn to cook, go learn to sew, go get involved in a nonprofit. You're so mad at the world and what? Go fix it one thing at a time. Get out there and go volunteer someplace. That's how you fix this stuff. Sitting on Facebook telling everybody that this person's evil and that person is dumb and idiotic and not productive, and you're part of the problem. You are part of the problem. Let me say that one more time. You are part of the problem. If that's all you're doing, you are part of the problem. Get off your butt. Go do something good in our community. Stop complaining on Facebook about stupid stuff. Idiots. All right. I'm done. We're going to talk Humane Society next hour. Something you can get involved with. We'll be back on the other side. Don't go away.
Your home for Coast to Coast AM in Roswell, 106.5, Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Not only has the Russian invasion of Ukraine killed more than 2,000 civilians, it has spawned a humanitarian catastrophe. More than 870,000 people have fled the country, many of them to neighboring Poland, and it's a terrifying scene for those who remain behind.
This is what people living in Ukraine's second city, Kharkiv, woke up to this morning. The aftermath of another Russian attack. 2 buildings are in this area, a university faculty and also a regional police department. Reports say paratroopers have also landed as part of an aerial assault. In the southern city of Kherson, which has a population of 250,000, from their windows local people filmed Russian tanks. The city is reported to now be under full Russian control.
That's the BBC's John Donison in Ukraine. President Biden in the State of the Union address promised to make Vladimir Putin pay for his aggression. Just moments ago at the White House, the president asked whether he is considering a ban on Russian oil imports.
Nothing is off the table.
And is Putin guilty of war crimes?
We are following very closely. It's early to say that.
This does not bode well for prices at the gas pump. Price of oil hovering around $108 per barrel this morning, and that's after the U.S. and some other countries agreed to release crude from their strategic reserves. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell on Capitol Hill this morning testifying before a House committee, making it clear that the Fed will start raising interest rates this month in a bid to rein in surging inflation. Powell warns the economic consequences of Russia's invasion of Ukraine are highly uncertain. Wall Street stocks higher. The Dow's up 382 points. The Nasdaq ahead 32, and the S&P is up 40 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Moose is the German Shepherd, now 11, and he's been an amazing dog. Moose is so active and so alert and hasn't had any kind of health problems at all. He has been on Dinovite since he's a puppy. DINOVITE.com. Now, Moose, at age 10, had a litter of 10 puppies with a friend's dog. We kept Lupo, his son, and the other puppies were given to friends, but one of the requirements was they must start those puppies on Dinovite. And someday, if Lupo has puppies, they'll be on Dinovite as well. We tell anybody that has a dog, if there was something that you could do right from the beginning so that you don't have expensive veterinary bills, why would you not do it? Get the Dinovite.
Dinovite for life.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dinovite from DINOVITE.com.
China continues its crackdown on Hong Kong, now going after a prominent figure in the city's legal community.
Until January, the British barrister Paul Harris led the Hong Kong Bar Association, a professional body that seeks to maintain the territory's judicial independence. Beijing officials had accused Mr. Harris of being anti-China after he criticised aspects of the national security law imposed on Hong Kong by Beijing 2 years ago. It's not yet clear why the lawyer has left the territory, although it's thought he was questioned by national security police just hours before flying out. One by one, Beijing is targeting all those critical of its increasing chokehold over Hong Kong.
The BBC's Michael Bristow. Several top Myanmar celebrities detained for criticizing the army's seizure of power been released from prison under pardons granted by the military government. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. We're learning more about the Sacramento father who killed his 3 children inside a church earlier this week. The children's mother had a restraining order against him.
David Moore was on a supervised visit with his daughters, ages 9, 10, and 13, at the church where he was living when he shot them, the chaperone, and himself. The mother of the children had described him as mentally unstable and suicidal in court papers last year. After a mental health evaluation, a restraining order was granted. It also prohibited him from a gun. Police are investigating how he got the weapon. A few days before the killings, he was arrested for DUI, resisting arrest, and assaulting a police officer. I'm Julie Walker.
Number of new coronavirus cases reported worldwide dropped 16% last week, marking a month-long decline in COVID-19 infections. That according to newly released figures from the World Health Organization. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tres Inviernos.
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here at 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. I know, Roy, you're trying to get Sean in the picture.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
But look at this right here. Hello, bald head. See this right
Hey,
here?
buddy.
Not so much here, but right here.
Why do I need to be on the camera? She's much prettier than I am. Just put the camera where it's supposed to be.
I just looked up and saw Sean, and hello.
I always
big
feel like
bald
when
spot.
I'm here, I'm safe. I can like hide, kind of like, play with stuff in the corner, mess with Mike's MRE supplies.
But he's looking up, I just see this chrome dome at the top of there. Sean like talking to, it looks like my top of my head was the mic.
You're supposed to sit there.
I know, but I'm over here now. So then why can't I just hide in the shadows? Let me do my
It's fine.
bit
I don't really care. It's not like I'm really like, I don't want people to know I'm bald. Yes, I'm bald. But it was like, dude, you don't have to like, why don't you just put arrows on it? Like, here it is, folks.
You do know that he's got the technology to do that.
I know.
Don't give him any ideas.
Well, at least get me paid. Put a logo right there so I get a check. Put a McDonald's.
Blue Chew.
Yeah,
right
put a big golden arches right there, and I'll get a little check for that. How about
there
that?
I like a smiley smiley face on it or something.
Something gets me paid. That's all I'm saying. If someone's paying for a smiley face,
What we need to do is just get a small circle of green screen and just tape it to the back of Mike's head. And
you can rotate them. Yeah, rotate logos.
Yeah.
Doesn't Walmart still use a smiley face?
I think so.
Well, then if he throws a smiley face, Walmart's got to pay you for advertisement.
Sam Walton, you want to put some money on my stay right here?
Mike's just trying to roll back his hairline. That's all.
Or better yet, Just for Men people or something. Come on out, or Cy Sperling from Hair Club for Men. He's probably dead.
Get you some of that Rudy Giuliani black spray.
Paint your bald spot.
Yeah.
Is that still around?
Well, it was when he was. Do you remember that? Like when he was like testifying.
Oh yeah.
Like what was it? 2 years ago?
Yeah, he was sweating. He
was sweating up on the stand, and just
running.
this black goo was just oozing off his head.
Yeah. Yeah, paint your bald spot. That was a big thing for a little bit in the 80s, 90s there.
That was a Ron Popeil thing, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, hair in a can.
Ronco, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it was one of those. Good. There's 4. You can talk on that one, or you can have your own mic.
Oh, I'm just.
You can have your own mic.
Wait, you know what? We can switch seats and you can be on live.
Yeah, but he's got to run the camera.
You go and run the camera.
He could be on the camera.
But if you want to talk, he's got to use the microphone. We got him.
Oh, no, I was just going to say I could put the eggplant emoji on the back of your head. And
No, that's probably stay off mic.
Maybe don't use number 4.
Maybe no.
Let's not go with any emojis today. It's Wednesday. It's not eggplant day.
It's not Monday again, is it?
Yeah, I think given the situation recently, I think Roy referencing anything with eggs is probably not the safest bet right now.
That would be an excellent decision. Crystal Noble joining us this hour from the Rousing Humane Society. I bumped her a couple days because last week we were doing all the candidate stuff, so she was kind enough to move to this week for me. So I do appreciate it.
To a much calmer time. Does it feel like calmer in Roswell now? Did you notice?
Oh no, people are hungry, and I've been online reading you didn't hear me on my diatribe chastising people for being idiots last night.
I've been blissfully unaware, stayed off social mostly last night.
Oh,
I completely stayed off of social. I went to Walmart.
Oh God, why?
Because I needed groceries.
Oh.
See, I missed the presidential. I didn't catch one minute of it. I caught a little bit of the news recaps, but I was busy at City Hall last night, so I missed all of that.
The only moment of note was that President Biden did announce that he stands with the Iranian people in this conflict.
Thank goodness.
Yes. Not the Ukrainian people, the Iranian people.
Well, hopefully he takes care of that.
He said it wrong.
Hopefully he takes out that Saddam guy.
Saddam.
Well, anyway, I missed all that. Yeah. But last hour I was basically I stumbled upon a website or a Facebook page that I guess been around a while, but everyone was chiming in, and I stumbled upon it. Now I'm a member, by the way, because I had to comment on one thing. And to do that, you had to become a member.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's how they get you.
Because it was grossly wrong. But I chimed. But I was just reading it, and the more I read it, and I get, and the part that people are upset this way or others, fine. That part don't bother me. I mean, people are passionate and people making cognitive thoughts. I'm good with all that. It's just these idiots that say wrong things, like. The results came in at 9:21 last night. We were gone by 9:21. Right. I'm telling you right now. That's horse hockey.
You did morning radio. I'm sure you were out by that point.
Well, everyone was out. I was the last one to leave pretty much. I mean, it was almost to the point of hey, Mike, turn off the lights on your way. Because I had to pack up all the equipment that I brought with me.
It's that one scene of just everybody gone, the lights go off, and just the one lonely tumbleweed just goes by Mike.
There's me wrapping up cords.
I was gonna say, and that's what I was gonna say. That's when the ballots came in.
That's right. That's when they all rolled in.
Slid in
like a wheelbarrow
at Mike's feet.
They're in my garage.
A lot of people don't know this. Mike actually hand counted those late ballots. He did it himself.
That's right. I was like 302, 303. Mike's like, hey, you want a sandwich? Yeah. What number am I on? 307, 2. That's what happened. You got it. So anyway, I was talking about something at the beginning, and I just can't remember what it was now. So anyway.
The James Franco thing? Or?
No, that was last hour. I'm spent on the James Franco thing.
Bald.
Bald.
We're talking about your head.
I'm done with that, too. We're just going to move on.
I'm just not going to remember what we were talking about and just move forward.
I'll remember about 11:30 and that's what it was, and no one will care at that point. All right, it is 13 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Our fair trend continues over the next couple of days and pretty mild. We'll be around 70 to 75 today and plenty of sunshine and not too windy. It'll be clear for the overnight hours, mid-30s, and then we're in the mid-70s with more clouds coming in on Thursday as low pressure starts to move into our area and a little more gusty, low 80s and sunny Friday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, did I refresh? I did. 46 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity's at 18%. Winds are calm at the moment. Expect a warm day. Actually, quite nice day. Sunny. This is I think they call this a Chamber of Commerce day in the weather. I don't know what that means exactly, but it sounds like that's appropriate for this. Sunny, high of 75 today. Winds will be out of the southeast 5 to 10 miles per hour. Pretty good March day here in Roswell, New Mexico. Partly cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 35. Southwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Mostly cloudy tomorrow, but pleasant temperature-wise. Once again, highs around 76. Winds will be out of the north 5 to 10 in the a.m., shifting to the south, picking up 10 to 15 for tomorrow afternoon. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night with an overnight low of 45 and south winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then Friday, we're going to see 80s. 81 is what they're saying under sunny skies. That's, I'd say, the good news. Bad news, winds coming with it. That's right, 80s coming and winds coming with me. They're going to have south winds 10 to 15, increasing 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour by Friday afternoon. Friday night, clear skies with an overnight low of 41. And then looking at your weekend, sunny and 76 for you Saturday. Cooler on Sunday, sunny, 69 for a high there. And it looks like we're going to be starting the week 60s on Monday, upper 50s, near 60 on Tuesday. So enjoy your 70s this week while we got it. And that 80 and wind blowing thing on Thursday. All right, it is 9:15. Let's go ahead and we got a 3-minute break to take care of. We'll do that right now, and then Crystal Noble will join us, and we'll talk pets and Humane Society on the other side. Don't go away.
Where can you find the best selection of beautiful and unique home decor in the region? Easy, Casa Decor in Ruidoso. For years, people from all over have come to Casa Decor for the best selection of rustic, real wood furniture, beautiful decor from the Southwest and beyond, and quality outdoor furniture and accessories that are built to last a lifetime. At Casa Decor, they have over 10,000 square feet of showroom for everything you need. Casa Decor opens 7 days a week from 9:30 to 5 at 1214 Meacham Drive in Ruidoso or online at casadecorruidoso.com. Proud supporter of local high school sports.
This is John.
Hey, my name is John Jackson.
He's not some actor. He's a steward of the land with a John Deere 3 Series tractor and a PTO Quick Connect that hooks up rear implements with a single click. John runs with us because to him, there's nothing more important than connecting with the land. Nothing runs like a Deere. Hear John's story at Deere.com.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia and Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward & Son Insurance Agency. Auto and home, life and health, personal and commercial. Bonds too, since 1925, we have the coverage for you. Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward & Son Insurance Agency.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the New Mexico Army National Guard. Aired by the New Mexico Broadcasters Association and this station.
The 2022 baseball season is gearing up for your Goddard Rockets and Roswell Coyotes. And in southeastern New Mexico, the place to go for all things Coyotes and Rockets is KSVPTV.com. Coming up on Thursday, your Roswell Coyotes square off in a doubleheader against the Tigers of Alamogordo, live from Joe Bauman Park. Coverage for this game begins at 5 p.m. on KSVPTV.com. Keep up with games all season long by clicking the Goddard Rockets or Roswell Coyotes tab at KSVPTV.com, Southeastern New Mexico's sports authority.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. You cannot snore and dream at the same time, unless you're dreaming about snoring. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 19 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Humane Society, Crystal Noble back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Good. How's life at the Humane Society this morning? How are the pets doing? How is
Good, it's going. We're getting our new lights put in today, so there will be a point in time today where the kennels are closed.
Okay.
Because we got electricians there pulling stuff down and putting in new lights.
Gotcha. So you don't want the public in the way or potentially getting, because anytime you deal with electrical, it could be a little bit of just don't want any issues and things like that. So,
but we have the thrift stores light and bright now.
Good
they
deal.
got their lights done yesterday.
So come do some shopping today.
Yes, because today is a good day to shop at the thrift store.
Nice.
So for all day today, anything that is hanging clothing or basket clothing is half off.
Nice.
All ladies' shoes and all kids' shoes are half off.
Wow.
All hanging wall decor is half off.
Nice. So save a buck, help out the Humane Society. This is the part that kind of makes me laugh, because they do these sales and they do amazing things to get people to come and shop. But the one thing that they really don't have to promote is cheap prices, because they're giving you discounts and all these things. They're pennies on the dollar already. So these shoes and stuff that you're going to knock $1 off, you probably only paid $2-3 for some of these to begin with, and now they're going to knock another $1 off of it. You know what I mean? So you get immense savings there on buying stuff that's, generally speaking, everything there is in new or very good condition, and some of the, especially clothing, sometimes
a lot of it comes with new tags
on it, never worn. Yeah, it's and they probably pay $30, $40, $50 for it new. You pay $5 for it. You know what I mean? That's what we're talking. And if you are a young couple or just starting out on your own, and you got to buy all the towels, a coffee pot, just the things that you're like, oh yeah, that's not my parents' house, I need to get that.
Black & Decker.
Yeah.
Coffee pots, they put $5 on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Keurigs, typically $20, depending on how big the Keurig is.
You could in essence get yourself set up to kind of live on your own here with the bare essentials and do it for a tenth of the price of what you would if you wouldn't have bought all this stuff brand new.
And another sale. So it's kind of hard to read your Nook and your Fire, whatever,
Kindles
whatever, outside. So the weather's warming up, and people like to go sit outside and read, right?
Mm-hmm.
Paperback books, 10 for $1.
Nice.
Hardback books, 4 for $1.
So readers, come out, and here's the beauty of it: you saved a bunch of money, but that $10 or $20 you spent, all of that goes to help the animals at the Humane Society, whether it's paying for a vet bill or paying for bleach and cleaner to clean the facilities, or pay for litter or pay for toys or whatever it is. Every single penny of that goes to the benefit of the animals at the Humane Society.
They at the thrift store, the book room is like a little library.
Okay.
So you've got your fiction, your nonfiction, your Harlequin, your history. It's all set, by authors. And, if you want
So it's organized.
It
and
is very
everything.
organized.
So it's just not a haphazard thing of books and all those.
No, and there's the kids zone. You know, it's just all kids books in one area.
Good deal. So if you want to do, but I know avid readers sometimes, and so that'll be good for them. But some of them don't mind that, like, because that's half the fun. It's kind of like think of Nicolas Cage treasure hunting. You know, you kind of go through the books and they're like, and they're going through and they're like, nope. And then at the bottom of the pile, it's like, a Louis L'Amour I've been looking for, or whatever it is. You know, that's what happens for those folks. So you know, use the and those folks. I know you got your routine. It's like yard sale shoppers.
Oh God!
You hit the yard sales on Saturday. They can do that with books too, because you can go over to Books Again over here. That helps the library get your books over there. Your thrift store. I know, like the Refuge thrift store does the same thing with books and stuff. So you can kind of make your rounds, help all these great nonprofits, and you got a library of books that you spent like $50 on.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And they've got they even have a religious section, so you know, like Bibles and stuff like that. They have a section for that too. But there's bookshelves, and then there's crates. So the people who like to rummage, there's the crates.
Best of both worlds.
Yep.
So our pickers and our bargain shoppers equally find get satiated with their findings here.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm telling you, and even like furniture from time to time, you guys get beds or couches and things.
They get a ton of furniture. I do know that there is some furniture that will be posted on the Humane Society Thrift Stores Facebook page.
Okay.
Because it is quite large, so it won't fit in the facility, so it's actually going to be at a storage unit.
Gotcha.
But they will be posting it on their Facebook page.
Okay.
So if you want to see it or whatever, just follow the Thrift Stores Humane Society page.
Okay. Which is a good way to stay up to date on what's going on with the Humane Society in general.
Right.
And
They
that
have
way,
their page, and then we have ours for the animals.
so like them both.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, you're kind of staying up to date on stuff. But if you're like wanting to see pets, particularly the Humane Society, 'cause that's where you post like your pets that are looking for homes and things like that.
We have our main website, which has every animal posted.
Mm-hmm.
We do a featured animal, or like I'll go through the cat room and do videos of the cats.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, our featured pet on Facebook is Polly.
Polly?
She came to us in really bad circumstances. She weighed 36 pounds when she should have weighed at least 50 at minimum.
She's a dog, I'm assuming.
She is a dog. Her full story is on our Facebook page, but I will pull up a photo so you could see.
Yeah. So needless to say, she's a little heavier now, doing healthier and ready to go to a
She's
loving home.
A lot healthier now. She's not quite there yet. We're getting her there yet. But that's how she was when she was discovered.
Oh, man.
And the chain that's wrapped around her neck is just tied around her neck. There's no collar holding it, so she does have scar tissue and hair loss from...
This is right out of those ASPCA commercials you see on TV that make you feel bad. That's, I mean, you can see the ribs, that kind of...
When she came in, she had fleas, she had ticks, she had tapeworms. We got her in, got her cleaned up. Jackie's Pet Services did a skin and hair treatment for her after we got her deticked and defleed.
And that picture at the bottom was an after?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she looked way healthier there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's now 52 pounds. Good. When she came in, she was 36.
So she still needs some loving and some eating.
She does. She needs a little bit more to go. She's not quite there, but...
Is she adoptable now?
Almost.
Almost, okay.
She's got her second set of shots, barely, but the vet wants to see her at 60 pounds
Before they feel comfortable.
So when we got her, we took her to the vet. They did an Ehrlichia test, a heartworm test to make sure that, she didn't have any of that stuff that comes from fleas and ticks and mosquitoes.
Mm-hmm.
She's clear of all of that.
Good.
We got her clear of the tapeworms, clear of fleas and ticks. She does have to go through another skin and hair treatment just because of how coarse her hair was.
Did they get like mange or something when they have those issues and stuff at some
Mange
point?
is a parasite.
Okay.
They can develop it when they get to that point.
Okay.
But her issue was lack of nutrients, no oils,
okay. So it was just dying on the vine, basically.
Right.
Her skin and hair.
Right. So she's had one treatment. She'll get another one. And then when she hits 60 pounds, the vet wants to see the structure of her, to see how she looks, to see if she thinks she needs to be a little bit heavier or not. Just because we don't know how much she truly weighed before she got to that condition.
Sure.
We don't want to make her too heavy,
Sure.
but we don't want her to stay too thin.
Right.
So we're just trying to keep her
At a healthy balance there.
in the middle.
Yeah.
And she's sweet. When we got her, she was scared. It didn't take her long to warm up, but she was super scared. Started giving her some food, and she was like, okay, I like you people.
You had to reestablish trust with humanity, her trust with humans again.
Right.
Yeah.
And now when she sees people, she's like, oh, somebody's going to feed me. I know you're going to feed me. So she is recognizes humans to food now and not humans to a chain.
To abuse. Gotcha.
She does not walk all that well on a leash, and that's something we are trying to work with on her because...
I would imagine it has something to do with the chain and everything, and she probably has flashbacks of her going to be chained back up. That's probably what's going on.
But even on a harness, which is clipped around her chest, she's like, oh, I don't know. But she does super great with people. She loves everybody that she meets. She's learning, how to take treats without snipping your fingers off because she doesn't realize yet that that's not going to go away.
Gotcha.
So when we give her treats, we have to work with her a little bit.
Sure.
Because she does have a very sharp canine.
She's not dainty with that. She's kind of like...
Yeah, it's more like mine.
Yeah. Maybe drop them on the floor for first couple times until you get used to it.
Well, she's getting a whole lot better.
Good.
She does have a very soft personality.
Okay. She's timid, like kind of a... She's not an alpha dog at all.
No, she's not an alpha. Okay. From what we can tell by her condition when we got her, it looks like she did have a litter of puppies or maybe two.
Okay, so...
she's a couple years old.
Has she been fixed since, or
no? Not healthy enough yet for that. And depending on if we can get her in a home, the adopters are going to be responsible for that.
Okay.
Or if she goes to like Albuquerque to their shelter, then they take care of that there.
Gotcha. If you said it, I missed it. I'm sorry, but do you guys guesstimate about how old she is?
Yeah, that's by their teeth.
Yeah.
We figure she's around about 2, and so does the vet.
Okay.
The way we tell with teeth is depending on whether they have all of their adult teeth in, and if they have tartar on the canine and tartar on the back teeth.
Gotcha. Okay.
So tartar on the back teeth.
It's not counting the rings like a tree.
No. Tartar on the back teeth, like you have your canine and then you have the molars back this way.
Mm-hmm.
So the tartar back here doesn't typically start until 3 to 4 years of age, unless they were fed like canned food.
Gotcha.
Canned food can alter how you age a dog really quickly because it rots their teeth.
Gotcha.
They don't have the crunchiness to break the tartar off of their teeth.
They need the hardness and things to clean and to strengthen their teeth.
And if you have a dog that, like little dogs, sometimes they have a hard time chewing food, which, they're small. But make sure to get them like the dental sticks or like the minties and stuff like that to help keep the tartar off.
Sure.
Because little dogs have horrible teeth to begin with, and without the jaw pressure like a large dog, they end up having to go get dentals and getting their teeth pulled. And
gotcha.
You can prevent a lot of that by keeping them on dry food, offering canned food,
or at least
occasionally.
offering a mix. Yeah.
Yeah, like as a treat.
Yeah.
Or keeping them with like, even the milk bones help with the tartar on the teeth.
Yeah.
So
and providing them with good chew toys and things also help mitigate that. Stay away from the rawhide stuff, but some of those the hard plastic bones that are good to chew for those little dogs.
I think it's by Red Barn. It is a femur that's like filled with either peanut butter and jelly flavor or filet mignon.
Okay.
And the design of it is for the dogs to lick the inside and like chew on it. And then the femur acts as, the scraper of the teeth.
Gotcha.
Because, they got to scrape the teeth to get the insides out. And I use those for my dogs. My dogs love them.
Good deal.
Their favorite is the cheeseburger.
And they got those are good for big or little dogs. Or
they have
size appropriate.
They have small ones for the little dogs, and then they have the bigger ones for large dogs.
Good deal. Because that's what I always think is like they usually have better chew things for the big dogs than the little dogs. And then again, here's a little newspaper, the squeaky thing, and no dog. I mean, they tear those up in 2 minutes. They're not really beneficial as far as dentally for the dogs.
Busy bones.
Okay.
They're a little bit softer.
Okay.
But those are for littler dogs that have a toothpaste formula inside.
Okay, so it acts as a little brusher and things. Or you can, if you're that devoted, you can sit down and brush your dog's teeth once a week or whatever they recommend.
If you start them at a young age, better.
Gotcha.
Try to do it as an adult.
Well, it's like training them at anything else. They get used to the routine, and then so they they may or may not like it, but they understand and will kind of do their thing at some point. If you make it
like a ritual, you know, like trimming their nails and brushing their teeth, it does help.
Sure. And if it's things they taste, like if you choose a dental toothpaste or whatever that tastes good for the dogs and things, they'll probably like it and want to.
The most common one for dogs is peanut butter flavored.
Okay. Because I know, like, for my cats, the goop I give them, you know what it is, the stuff for their skin so they don't airball.
Laxatone?
Yeah.
It's
They
peanut
make it,
flavored?
Yeah. Which ones we got now? We've got two. We got one that's more of a sweet. It almost smells like a syrupy flavor, like a maple or something. But we got that one, and then we got like a chicken or whatever it is. I don't remember. We got two different flavors. They like them both.
I think the sweeter smelling one is like a beef flavored. Because it reminds me of beef bouillon.
It might be, but it almost feels and smells like a syrupy kind of. Cats love it. I mean,
as long as they love it, that's what matters.
One, I have to like do it separate because one will bull the other one, and one's like a slow eater. She likes to smell it, and she's got a routine. The other one's a hound dog, and so the one that chomps, I gotta like, all right, I'll give you yours, but let me, and the other one gets all wigged out if the other one's like up in her business while she's trying to eat. So I have to like pull her, all right, come here. And I can sneak in. All right, here you go. And then she takes her time, licks it off my finger, and good. Then I let the other one come in and be a bull in the china shop. So
yeah, I have those at home. And what's funny is I have a Great Dane and a boxer, but the Great Dane is the dainty one.
That's really unusual.
And the boxer's like, give it up.
Although I could see that. Little dogs always have big dog mentality.
Well, he was the biggest dog in the house until the Great Dane came.
Oh, and then he lost that.
Now he's like, oh, well, I can walk underneath you and you can't see me.
But big dogs generally are their bark is worse than their bite. You know what I mean by that? Is they're intimidating looking and sounding, but are generally 10 times more lovey, friendly, wanting to be in your lap, wanting to lick your face, wanting to be lovers than a little dog would be.
And, just thinking of this, something that people don't realize, like little dogs, if you buy the little baby carrots from the store, those work as dental sticks, too, for little dogs.
Very cool. And big dogs love them, too.
Yeah. But you have to get the bigger carrots because the baby carrots don't last very long with big dogs.
Well, what happened, and I found this out by accident back when I had my dog, Sissy. One day we were making stew or something, and we're shaving carrots into the trash can, right? And you know how you shave and of course, a couple of the things get loose. And as soon as one fell floor-wise, that dog was in, and she was gulping them up like, this was great. And I was like, she likes carrots. So I bought the baby carrots, and sure enough, if I bought those carrots out to eat for myself, she was like, hey, Dad, how you doing? There's two things that she would, and I didn't really feed her people food. I kind of avoided and tried it because I didn't want her begging. I didn't, it's not, and people food isn't always good for dogs. So I generally don't. But there were two items that she would not, her manners went out the window. Baby carrots and beef jerky. Those were the two. I can't eat those in the house without her all up in my business.
So it's funny that you say beef jerky because Toby, the boxer, he used to get, per his daddy, Slim Jims.
Uh-huh.
So I had bought some of the Duke's sausages.
Okay.
And I opened the package, and Toby's looking at me like, hey.
How you doing?
And I'm like, no, you're not getting none. So I open the package, and I grab a carrot, and I hand him the carrot because he loves carrots.
Okay.
He spit the carrot out and went... And I was like, no, you did not.
You got filet mignon over here, and you handed me a carrot? What's up?
So I put my beef sticks back up in the cupboard, and I grabbed a carrot and started eating it. Then he'd eat the carrot.
Then he was like, okay, since you're eating it, I'll eat it.
And I was like, okay, it's time for you to go potty because I want my beef sticks gone.
Right?
And he's like, no. And if I open the package of the jerky or anything, he's at the door. Hey. And I'm like, you created a bad habit with him and them jerky sticks.
Yeah, what the animals can't smell, they can hear. They're better hearing and better smelling than you do.
They cannot hear, somebody trying to break in your house,
but selective.
You crinkle a bag of chips and they're like, hey.
Oh, they heard it. They just don't care.
This is Toby. His ear goes.
It's like, I'm sleeping right now.
I don't think I need to pay attention to that.
But, if they think something's coming good, then they're like, what? Treat? I'm in. All right.
Yeah.
It's selective hearing. It's just like your mother and father. They claim they're deaf. They hear everything. They don't hear you.
In my defense, I say husband because it's always, huh?
Right.
What?
They hear it all. They just don't hear you. What about some of the other pets right now looking for homes?
So we do still have Denim and Yin Yang.
Okay.
I am picking them up from Country Club this morning.
Okay.
And then they went to go get their rabies shots
Okay.
and stuff because they've been there over a year.
Oh,
They've
they
been
need a
there
home.
13 months.
It's time for them to go find a living home.
Yes. Yin Yang, I think if somebody could exercise him enough on a daily basis, he would not jump 7 feet in the air.
So he's an exciting young dog.
He is. Well, he's about 3, almost 4.
Okay.
And
Still young. What kind of dog?
Pit bull.
Pit bull.
But he weighs about 55 pounds.
So it's a big baby right now.
He is super sweet. You know, he just wants all the human affection he can get.
Mm-hmm.
He sees people and he's like, oh my God, oh my God.
Sounds like he craves structure is what it is. You put some structure in that dog's life and probably settle down.
Well, it's funny because if you put like a harness on him,
Mm-hmm.
he stops and he's ready to go.
Okay.
You know, he loves to go for walks. He walks great on a harness. On the leash, he's just kind of all over the place.
Sure.
But he does so good on a harness, and he loves to go for walks, and he
Okay.
loves people. He loves to be brushed. He's a short-haired dog that loves to be brushed.
So it sounds like if you get him walking regularly, that'll settle some of that and calm him down. You know, because that's what it is that these are dogs that are built to run and play.
But he can climb chain link fence. So he cannot go home with somebody with chain link fence
All right.
because he has showed us all the kennels that are escapable at the shop.
Wow. So maybe either you got to have a stockade fence or
brick, center block.
Or
wood.
if you live out in the country, someplace where you has room to run, that might be good for this dog. So
And it's funny because, like, we have exercise runs, and, like, we'll go out there with him.
Mm-hmm.
He does not want to run. He just wants to be pet. You throw a ball, and he looks at it and then looks at you like, I'm not going for that.
But I think that all changes once he has it all. You know what I mean? It's like right now he's in a cage for X amount of hours a day, and then he comes out, and it's like, I just want to be loved on. But, you know, but once you say, all right, you got your love, want to go chase a ball? All right, you know what I mean? Like, once they realize it's because they know that they love the love. And so, no, I want nothing to get, this is love time. You know what I mean? I think that's some of that going on there. You know?
It's funny because you rarely find a dog that will choose affection over food. He chooses affection over food every day.
That's great.
Go to feed him, and he's like, you're going to pet me, and you're going to love me, and I'm going to kiss you, and then I'll go eat.
Then I'll have whatever you're offering.
Yeah. Whatever's in the dine today, I will have, but I want my love
So it
first.
sounds like a great dog. Just someone who's going to, again, like any pet, you work with it, you treat it a part of the family, and it turns out great. You're just going to have to do that with it.
He really is. He's an amazing dog. So is Denim. She's 90 pounds of pure stark.
Is she a pit bull as well?
She's a Mastiff.
Mastiff, okay.
She's black and white, just like Yin Yang. But she sits. She's gentle. I don't know why anybody hasn't tried to adopt her.
She just looks scary because she's big. But she's very friendly, very loving. And
She does not like men in hats.
Okay.
The second you take your hat off, she's like,
fine.
oh, hi.
So she had a bad experience with a man in a hat, and she's associating.
A lot of dogs really don't like people in hats because it blocks their eyes.
Oh, okay.
But for whatever reason, like if females wear hats, she's not as.
Now, let me ask, if you wear like a stocking cap, like a beanie that doesn't cover your eyes, does that affect one way or the other?
No, it's
generally
just like
something with
the
a
ball
brim?
caps and
Something
the
with a
brims.
brim? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because my husband loves this dog, and he's always in a hat, one way or the other, cowboy hat, whatever. And so when he goes to see her, he takes his hat off,
Sure.
and she's like, "Oh my God, it's you again!"
And I would also offer this for folks too. When you're breeding dogs and petting them, get down to their level. That makes so much, especially strange dogs that don't know you. When you stand over there and tower them, that's intimidating. When you get down on your knees to get down to greet them and stuff like that, you come as a much friendlier person to them. So just a tip. And by the way, don't go running up to strange dogs and start petting them without permission things. But when you're encountering a new pet for the first time, get down on their level and offer something to smell. Let them get comfortable with you for a minute and let them come to you. Don't just start running up and grabbing them and touching on the tail and loving
That's
them.
how you get bit.
That's when the bad things happen. Because treat it like you treat an unknown person. How would you go up to a person you've never met before? You wouldn't just run up and start patting them on the back and touching them. You start talking,
That would cause a lot of issues, but...
Same thing with the animals. They don't want you just rolling up on them and touching them, everything. Get to introduce yourself.
We get to, being the Humane Society, we get to be involved with a lot of things. And one of my friends, she has a son who's in kindergarten. And so she's always posting stuff on Facebook, and she had sent it to the Humane Society's Facebook page. Well, the teacher had asked them if humans met other humans like dogs, how do they think that would happen?
Oh, I bet that's funny.
His response was, we would back our butts up to their face. My mom says a dog meets another dog by sniffing its butt.
Uh-huh.
And I laughed because, he's only in kindergarten, and he's got, just this bright mind of already knowing, I'm not going to look at you face to face. I'm going to turn my back to you and put my butt up. And the teacher had sent this home to her and saying, but her dogs have gone through dog training, and she takes the kids with her. Okay. So that way the kids can, understand,
They're training
how
the
to
kid
command.
As much as the dog, on how to interact with each other.
Command the kids, don't do this to the dogs, don't go up to the dog and just touch it. So he's a little bit more intelligent than most kindergartners because he's been exposed to a lot more.
Sure. He just had that opportunity and knows and been around it his whole life. Yeah.
I laughed because the teacher asked him, well, what if you have to fart? And his response to the teacher was, well, my butt is in his nose, and if he doesn't want to smell my fart, he'll move his nose.
That's true. That's not a wrong answer.
So I can gladly say I'm happy we do not meet people like dogs meet dogs.
You know what? Probably a good idea. I think Facebook would look a lot different if that was the case.
It'd be called Butt Book.
Yeah, right. Butt Book.
And this isn't Facebook. This is Butt Book.
That would be funny. Maybe we should start that site. You're going today. For dogs. Dating site for dogs. Butt Book.
Find your soulmate on Butt Book.
That's pretty good. We got a few more minutes here, but what about cat side? How are the cats looking right now?
We got a lot of cats.
Okay.
We got a lot of young cats. We got some adult cats. We do have two, I'm going to say middle-aged cats only because cats live a very long time. They're 9 years old.
Okay.
It's Mimi and Precious. They came to us because their mom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and was having to relocate to Houston area for treatment, and where she was staying, she couldn't take her pets.
I would imagine, yes. So.
They're both very sweet, very friendly. Precious takes a little bit to warm up to people. Mimi's just like, hey, I'm ready for this.
Sure.
But Precious loves to be brushed.
Okay.
You want to win Precious's heart, you break out a brush, and she's like, oh. They're both super sweet, super friendly. They're not from the same litter, but they were both adopted.
So if you can bring
together.
them together, stay them together, that would be probably beneficial for both the cats.
I think it would be. I think it would help Precious adapt a lot more because
there's some familiarity for her.
They're a little bit plump. And so they both couldn't fit in a kennel together.
Okay.
For comfort for Precious. So they're in separate kennels, but they're side by side. But that's, still Precious's, was lonely in the beginning. And now she's okay with not having her sister there. But if we could get them in a home together, I think that would help Precious adapt so much easier.
Yeah, that sounds like it. So if you have the home for two cats or want to, maybe you're thinking, I'm going to adopt cats. To be honest, and I say this as a 2-cat owner, 2 cats are better than 1 when you own cats because cats are pretty self-sufficient, but also, and they get lonely. They don't act like it, but they do. And if you're gone, like my wife and I both work all day, so we're, so they have each other during the day, and that does help. I've noticed that difference. And they've become buddies over the years. They won't admit it, but I know they are because they act like...
It takes them a little bit of time.
Well, they act like sisters, and they'll whack each other over the little things. But at the end of the day, when if one cries out in pain, the other one's like, hey, what are you doing? You okay? Like the nose right there. Like because our diva, she complains about everything. And so she complained about something, and then the other one's like right there. What are you doing? What's up? Smell your butt. everything okay? Everything's okay. Why are you complaining? You know,
You got a diva and a tomboy.
Yeah, I do. I guess exactly what I got.
Oh, that's funny.
So, I do want to mention this. Another way you can get involved with the Humane Society and be a part is becoming a member. It's very easy. Anything and anyone can be a member. Your pet rock, your kids, your pets, yourself, your family. Everybody can become a member of the Humane Society, and because part of that, you get a
quarterly newsletter.
Yeah, there is meetings that you can participate and vote in and things, but really, your membership fees help cover costs of spay, neuter, and all the things we talk about that go on at the Humane Society. And so, being a member is a great way to support and help out.
And when we do send out the newsletters have like featured animals that are in the shelter. It's got thrift store news. It's got upcoming stuff for the kennels, like if we have adoption events. Some little fun facts here and there to help out, like, oh, maybe I didn't know this kind of stuff. It's really more so just to help send out for adoption.
Sure.
To encourage people to adopt.
Get people, get the word out, pets looking for homes. And I would also, offer up, if you can't adopt a pet for, because you live in an apartment or
volunteering is something.
Volunteer's the best.
The weather's becoming a lot more
good dog walking season right now. Yeah.
Sorry. The weather is more apt to people getting out and being more physical active, and we are transitioning into spring and spring cleaning. If you're thinking, I don't want to go through the garage today, but I need to do something physical, call us.
Sure, absolutely. Why is he showing me that? I don't even know why he's showing me that. It's like war wounds or something. Like, hey, my arm's gone. Notice that?
Oh my God.
I don't know. I'll have to find out later.
That's tough, man.
But become a member or volunteering. We are still hiring for the kennels.
Still have an opening for
we do
coming and cleaning and taking care of pets. So if you love pets, great job. But get prepared because it's the unsexy part of pet ownership. Cleaning up poop, cleaning after these pets, taking care of their needs. But with the bad comes the awesome. You get to play with these pets, interact with these pets.
It's rewarding to see an animal come in completely terrified of everything and then knowing that you helped in making it realize that the world's not bad again.
Yeah, you're changing these pets' lives by coming in and being human to them and making them...
Being the good humans, because there aren't always all good humans.
Absolutely, but showing them the good sides of humanity and everything else. And it's not sexy. You're going to be clean up poop, pee, puke, all the stuff that happens that comes out of animals. You're going to be cleaning
If it comes out of us, it comes out of them.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. So,
and there's good days, there's bad days in any job. In any job, it doesn't matter if you're working with animals, people, the public, fast food. You have good days and you have bad days, and I can't say that there's not days to where I'm like, how do I continue to do this? Because it does get hard.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, there's more good than bad.
Yeah. For every story that breaks your heart, there's 10 of them that warm your heart. And that's the Humane Society. That's what it's all about. So if you'd love to come be a part of it, please apply. Needing those. And of course, volunteers. If you're like, I got a job, but hey, you'd love to come and maybe it's like, I love pets, but I live in an apartment, can't have one. Come walk dogs with us. Come hang out with them in the meet and greet rooms, because the more human interaction the pets have, the more adoptable they become, because the more comfortable they are around people and things. And I also want to say this for folks that are looking to adopt. Remember, when you go to the Humane Society or the animal shelter or any place like that, you're seeing the animals at their worst. You're seeing them in cages, cooped up, where they're probably a little bit nervous or anxious or uncomfortable. You're not seeing them in their happy, comfortable. So remember that when you're shopping and going through and checking out the pets and say, hey, I love it. If that dog doesn't ask to bring them out and go into a family room and let them flourish in an environment that isn't surrounded by 10 other dogs and a bunch of noise.
It's as much as we hate when people refer to animal control in us as like the pound or jail.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is very similar to that for a dog.
Yeah.
I refer to us as their halfway house.
Yeah.
we are halfway to their new home. We are what's taking care of them to find them the new home. So we are halfway to their new house.
Yeah, you're basically moms and dads for a bunch of pets until they find their permanent homes here. That's what it, and that's at the end of the day is how you treat it.
We're the foster parents.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, that's taking care of their needs, feeding them, playing with them, and every one of the staff, the volunteers, yourself, you fall in love with these pets because they've got great personalities and everything. And I imagine it's a double-edged sword sometimes for you guys. You're like, oh, it's awesome, they finally got a home, but you're like, it's kind of sad. I miss that dog or I miss that cat,
I can't tell you how many times I've cried over an animal getting a home because of an attachment or, transporting it to Albuquerque because couldn't find it a home here and leaving him there. Raider is one of my ultimate heartbreaks because he came in so terribly scared, and then we got him and he learned that the world wasn't all bad again, and everybody just overlooked him because he was part husky and part pit, but he had my heart, and if I had the means, he would have been home with me, but I know my limits. So
you can't and that's the problem we have with a lot of people, and unfortunately that's where they get in these situations. They have good hearts, they want to help people. Next thing you know, they're cat people with 30 cats and 14 dogs, and you're like,
or 34 dogs and 29 cats.
That's not healthy for anybody, including the pets you're trying to help. So, and that's mental health problems. It really is. That's the same mental health issues that hoarders have where they live in filth and squalor and they just keep collecting stuff. There's something not firing in the brain right with those, and it's the same, whatever it is, it's the same thing. So, but anyway, another conversation for another day. We're out of time. If anybody has any questions about anything, give the phone numbers to the thrift store and the shelter.
For the thrift store, it's 623-9210.
Okay.
And they open up in about 5 minutes.
All right.
And remember, today's half off. Clothing, ladies' shoes, kids' shoes, wall decor.
Absolutely.
And books, 10 for $1 and 4 for $1.
You could buy a whole bunch of stuff and spend under $100 and basically
you really can
get a whole wardrobe or a whole library or a whole maybe even kitchen set or something, you know what I mean? Just something for your home. So.
And the kennels are 622-8950.
Very good.
We will be closed for a portion of the day today because we do have the electricians there. So once they get everything fixed and changed out, then we'll reopen.
I imagine if you had plans to visit the shelter today, call ahead and say, hey.
Call, because I know they were working on the thrift store up until they opened, and then they were going to come over to our side.
Okay.
And I don't know how long it's going to take them to get everything done. But
okay. But in the meantime, you can shop online, RoswellHumane.org. You can see every single pet that's calls the shelter home right now. If you see not available next to it, it's not because they've been adopted. It's because they're in quarantine or waiting to make weight, or they're just not available to the public yet. But once they reach those goals, then they will be adoptable. So if you fall in love with one of those pets, call, inquire, and as soon as it's available, you can come in and adopt. So good deal. Is there anything we missed?
I don't think so. I think we got it all.
We'll see back on the regular schedule here now, I think, and we'll get things to it. Thank you very much.
Now that elections are over.
Yes. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, and have a good day. Don't hopefully the lights go working well and everything, because I know anytime there's any kind of renovation or construction, and you're like, well, it's supposed to be done today, but this happened, and next thing you know, 3 days later it gets done. So
unfortunately, but we have a lot of lights to get changed out, so I'm sure it's going to take more than 1 day.
Gotcha. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
All right, it is 9:56. Quick break and business update before we go.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. A comeback this morning for Wall Street's benchmarks, moving higher at the opening bell. Also moving higher this morning, crude oil and gas prices. Record high inflation in Europe for the fourth month in a row.
The European Union Statistics Agency reports consumer prices in the 19 countries that use the euro currency increased by an annual 5.8% in February. The latest numbers show continuing pain for the continent's consumers. The report also piles more pressure on the European Central Bank as it grapples with when to raise interest rates as Russia's invasion of Ukraine rattles the global economy.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is on Capitol Hill today. He is testifying at a House hearing. With inflation raging, Powell says the Fed plans an interest rate hike later this month. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
There's a whole universe out there. Come explore at the International UFO Museum and Research Center, featuring engaging exhibits and in-depth first-hand accounts of the incident that put Roswell on the map. The research library features the most comprehensive collection of UFO research materials in the world, and you can get exclusive one-of-a-kind gifts and merch from the gift shop or online at RoswellUFOmuseum.com. Don't forget about the UFO Festival, July 1st through 3rd, celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Roswell incident. The International UFO Museum and Research Center. It's otherworldly.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. The education assistance I received made it possible for me to be the first person in my family to go to school and graduate debt-free. That education helped get me to the first day at my dream job, a job that I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job, plus the other benefits possible from the Army National Guard, helped me become a first-time homeowner. Also, part of my role as a National Guard soldier means I know that I can be one of the first to respond and help my community if disaster ever strikes. I'm extremely proud that I get to serve my community, and that first step I took by joining the Army National Guard has made all the difference in my life. Talk to your local recruiter or visit NationalGuard.com to find out what firsts are available to you in the Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the New Mexico Army National Guard. Aired by the New Mexico Broadcasters Association and this station.
The 2022 NMAA District Tournament is really heating up, and the Bulldogs are looking to keep it alive this Saturday as your 8-seed Artesia Bulldog boys face off against the 9-seed Wildcats of Lovington, live from the Bulldog Pit. Coverage for this game begins with pregame at 5:45 and tip-off at 6 p.m. on KSVP AM and FM and at KSVPTV.com. Bulldogs versus Lovington Wildcats, Saturday at 5:45 on KSVP AM and FM and at KSVPTV.com. Southeastern New Mexico's Sports Authority.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Ketchup was used as a medicine back in the 1930s. Mike uses ketchup to make friends. He doesn't have a lot of friends. Here's Mike Winters.
And that's about going to do it for us for today's show. Thanks for allowing us to be a part of it. If you missed any part, go back and check it out at your leisure, KSVPTV.com, in the Mornings with Mike Winters channel. We'll be back bright and early, 7 a.m. tomorrow.